Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the post-earnings podcast, or whatever you want to call this. We're going to start the show with a blast from the cyber whistle.
Hopefully everyone blew their cyber whistle at the same time. If you haven't, definitely chime in with the cyber whistle. Welcome to the show, everybody. Great to be here. Tesla just reported another blowout quarter. Just kind of tired of talking about how many records they smashed, record revenue, record profits, record deliveries, margins. Elon's record stoked.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the Tesla bot. So I feel like earnings were great. We're a home run. We kind of knew that.
Right.
Do we even need to talk about earnings, or should we just?
Well, no. I mean, I think the expectations were so baked in. Like, I don't think anybody here cares about like, oh, they did 250 or not, because they're beating earnings and they're doing great numbers. But we're here to talk about, I think, a little bit deeper of what we heard from Elon, what I think he really tried to hammer home a few big things so that people are paying attention to the right things with Tesla moving forward. Firstly, the Tesla bot, which we were just discussing how detailed the bot's body will be, like what functions it will be able to serve, because Galley's still single, and he was kind of like, if I could marry a bot, maybe that's a good idea. And I said, no, it's probably not, because it probably can't do all the things that you would need. But like cooking and cleaning would be great, huh?
Yeah, but that's just an example of the level of the Tesla bot. Like, I feel like we're not freaking out enough about the fact that Elon is gonna bring robots to us. Like, we're gonna have the robot revolution. Right. I'm like, this is gonna get weird quickly.
It's kind of like iPad with Jobs, where it was like, iPad's coming out and people were like, oh, okay. And then it's like, people didn't realize like everybody's gonna have like 3 iPads. And it's the same thing with Tesla bot. People kind of look at Elon like, oh, he's crazy, like what is this bot? And we're all going to have robots. That's basically what it is.
I mean, the amount of time, and to unpack, the biggest comment that we're touching on here is Elon on the call is saying this is going to be a bigger business than Tesla, than cars. So like in the long run, if you're a Tesla shareholder, we're valuing this as a multi-trillion car company, but it's like, well, what about when they have the robot revolution?
Yeah. There he is. There he is.
Our special guest man just got here.
2 days in a row.
Oh,
we got Kevin.
How you doing,
Kevin. He's got a.
The best tequila.
We got. Okay, this is just incredible. This is
amazing timing.
It's like a dream team. It's like a dream come true, right? And like last night, we were cruising in the Lucid. And
wait, can I just say, like, why did I not, like, nobody texted me? Like,
we didn't know. We didn't know.
No, I'm joking. No.
It was last minute. It was fun. I like the Lucid. I was saying it this morning. It's a beautiful car, but without the brain and the eyes. The 8 eyes and the brain that your Tesla has. It's hard. So it's kind of like, it's like dating a model a little bit, where you're just like, it's a beautiful car, but boy, she didn't see very well, and she certainly didn't talk very well, and so I think it's like, I had a lot of experiences as a child doing that. But I think the Lucid's a beautiful car, and it's expensive, very similar to what I compared.
It is, more expensive than the Plaid. Do you have a blue Plaid as well?
No, the blue Plaid is somebody else's. Mine's the black Plaid.
Oh, darn.
Did you crash into it?
No, I put a note on it.
I love note.
That Palantir is watching. Now, unfortunately, I think
that's not funny, Kevin. That's a sensitive issue.
Oh, well, apparently I put it on the wrong person's Plaid.
All right. That's a penalty. Cyber whistle penalty.
That wasn't all I said either, so I think we need to remove that.
So oh, great. So did you drive the Lucid today, or your Tesla?
No, I drove the Tesla.
Yeah, because
it drives itself.
Wow, see, that's already interesting, though.
Because we knew, because you were posting, and we're like, I think he's driving down. He must be on full self-driving or something. And I know how hard you bitched for full self-driving.
I still don't have it.
Oh, I thought you got it.
Oh,
no. So what happened was, thanks. So I couldn't get the safety score for like a month,
right?
Which is insane, because a lot of people, they say, oh, I got my safety score within the first day of getting the Tesla.
Yeah, but it was a new car.
It didn't matter. A lot of people got new cars, and they would have their safety score within 12 hours. I think I figured out what the problem was. So I would park my car in my alley to charge it. I don't have a driveway, or in front of my house, just when it's done. I believe the Wi-Fi signal was never strong enough where the car gave up on just uploading the data, and it would just say your safety score will show after your first drive. but there's no warning that says, by the way, we're still trying to upload the data or whatever. So what I did is I took the car and I installed a Wi-Fi extender in my garage and then parked the car in the garage, which I never do because I park like 4 go-karts in the garage, little electric go-karts.
Lots of Cybertruck.
Exactly. Well, and the little Cyber ATV the Jack has out.
Yeah.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah,
That
your
thing's
wife's
fast.
thrilled about that.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So I parked the car in there for 2 days and safety score showed up.
That might be possible because the Wi-Fi signal is kind of a big thing where you park your car because there's so much data that is going back and forth
Constantly
with full self-driving, especially because they're taking all your data and uploading it daily to upload into the computers. But what was really surprising, there were a couple of little tidbits in the call in the report. Like I didn't realize, I think it was like they said 60,000 full self-driving beta testers.
Yeah,
more than I thought
huge.
too.
Way
That's
more.
a
I
big
thought there was
number.
like 5,000. And I was wondering because incremental abilities kept getting better quicker. Like the last 2 weeks to up, it's just like, it just gets better at such a quick pace that it's so obvious. And I was like, how is this possible with just a few thousand people? And now it explains it. They're gathering data up to 60,000 cars simultaneously. Imagine the flow of information that they're getting. So
and actually,
this is powerful stuff.
Especially with drivers like you.
Yeah. Well, I am the
No.
finest EV driver in the country.
One of my unnamed friends who used to work at Apple and was talking to them about the self-driving car project, and
Like
they had this number.
Have a name, or you're not naming.
I'm not naming. Well, I don't know.
Both.
But he was saying that they were like, "What's the fleet size you need to get enough data to do an autonomous car?" And they came up with like 100,000 cars. Oh, this is Apple, so who knows if they were even remotely right? But I just think it's interesting that like
but it's exponential.
60,000.
Right.
We're getting to the point where that's a big fleet. Like
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's funny that what you said about the Lucid, that you took your Tesla to get here instead of the Lucid. I'm like, that to me is so interesting to unpack because that's everything. That's what I've been saying. Lucid, it's a luxury car, but isn't the biggest luxury getting chauffeured? I don't whip, I get chauffeured. That's like.
I may have also given my Lucid to my in-laws like 2 hours ago. So
it might be out of battery charge too. Yeah.
They are very, very anti-Tesla. And my barometer for no longer being like bullish on Tesla is when they become bullish on Tesla. There's nothing that I could do to convince them to like Tesla. So
why? What's the?
They're honestly, I have no idea. They read Consumer Reports. Let me leave it there.
Yeah, they hate technology.
No, it's fascinating because so many people who I'm like, you're smart, you're educated, you love like the environment, or you say you do, but then you're like, oh, I hate Tesla and I hate Elon. But I'm like, you don't actually hate.
But it's the second thing. It's the second thing you said, and this is what happened to the short sellers that went against us several years ago. Is that their emotion towards Elon colored their view of what he does. And like, I think a lot of people make that mistake in investing where they might not like something or someone, but it doesn't mean that that's not a good investment per se. Yeah. And not to say you have to love everybody you're investing with, but Elon is a polarizing figure. And I think people who love Elon see that part, and it's easy to sort of laugh off the part where people really don't like. But there's a whole subset of our society establishment, I would say, that Elon has broken the mold of what a CEO is.
Oh, what a human is almost like.
Well, yes and no. There's been great innovators at different times, and you're named after one of them. And in fact, Galileo went through the same thing Elon went through, but worse. Okay. So when you think about innovators through history, often were killed by governments because the innovate or the church or whoever, because those innovations threatened the status quo. And that's where this hate comes from, is because a lot of people really don't like the threat to the status quo for various reasons. It's a polarizing thing to make a robot that's going to replace a lot of people.
And are you talking about the Optimus that they announced?
Optimus has got to be scary for a couple people, I'm sure.
I thought it was interesting because a lot of folks, I think, were really excited that the product roadmap that we were going to get was going to be large announcement on production of battery cells, which is constraining everything. Cybertruck. And we didn't really get, in my opinion, the optimism on those two things that folks potentially were looking for. Instead, the product roadmap that we got was Optimus, which I think is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know how investors are going to respond to that. And I want to open that up to you guys to see what you guys think.
Well, I think it was mostly that we sort of expect this already. Like we know Cybertruck is shooting for the end of the year. We know what we learned is that Austin is, this was a big question I've been working on for months, is Austin building cars starting with the 4860 cell?
That was a big question mark.
And I reached out to Tesla several times and couldn't get an answer from them, and because they didn't want to tell me. But I was like, are you putting the old cell line next to the new cell line, like until it's up and this and that? And I could not get an answer. And I was fairly convinced that they were going to start production in the Model Y with the old cells just to get production up and running.
That's what I thought.
And the fact that they're announcing that the first car is coming off the line, the technology and the battery development of this and the ability to now scale it, which was always the challenge from Battery Day a couple of years back when we went and saw the first cell factory. This is one of the greatest battery technology innovations in the last 100 years. And that's what I don't think investors, we can talk about the robot and that product pipeline, which I think it's great to look at a robot because I think he wants people to see Tesla as an AI company.
Yes.
But the real innovation, the real thing that came out of this call that's literally like mind-blowingly huge is that the new cars are going to have this technology in it. And this technology allows them to make cars substantially cheaper, with substantially less cells, with the structural battery pack being a substantial cost reduction.
But when,
what could the
how soon?
Like Q1, they'll start delivering it.
No. Rather, how soon could we potentially see that margin improvement? My expectation is we'll probably
in
have
a year
margin decrease initially
as it ramps.
Exactly.
Right. I think that's what you got to think long term of like that's always my thing. It's like, okay, like, yeah, margins are going to get hit short term, but it's like if you were a CEO,
but that's a buying opportunity.
That's a buying opportunity. And that's, I even think the market will kind of understand that. But I love what Ross is saying about like, okay, we know how dope Tesla is now. We know the Model S is the best car you can buy. The technology is amazing. It's like Tesla's telling us on the call, like, we just disrupted that. They're not waiting for somebody else to even catch up. They're like, that is actually old technology. Your Plaid, bro, is actually kind of whack because it has the old batteries and it doesn't have a structural pack, which is going to have like a lower center of gravity and like this kind of drive by wire feel or something.
It's
better performance.
It's an easier build too.
It might charge up to 90 or 100 instead of trying to keep it at 80. So there's all these. So I'm like, okay, to me, like what you were saying, I didn't even think about it because for so long I'm like, that first 4680 cell car's got to hit the road. That's the milestone. Nothing else matters because that means they've commercialized it. And now like we kind of got jaded because it took so long, obviously. But now I'm like, wait, you're right. That is happening. And that is about to hit the road.
Battery technology is not
shout out to Tesla.
I know, but they have not advanced battery technology since the first cells in World War II that we were using for radios. Which and like there was the joke of the AAA batteries that was in this
the Tesla.
No,
which it kind of was. Like if you look at the 2170,
what it does look like,
right? It's like,
and now we've gone from like AAA batteries to those big D batteries, right? And so like if you imagine the efficiency of being able to use substantially less cells because you're using D batteries instead of AAA batteries, right? And those batteries cells are super efficient and made with iron and lower costs and lower human cost and extraction costs with the materials. This is the most consequential innovation that Tesla has done since they've been able to scale batteries in the first place.
Yeah. And we're saying, okay, electric cars are already, 50% more efficient in total lifetime miles and energy use, but it's like, now we have to use, it's 20% more efficient. So it's 20% less raw materials. So that's every EV going forward is 20% less mining. It's like, so I love that on the back end
side.
The ESG side is great. Yeah.
I mean, I remember Battery Day, September 2020, and investors hated it. Do you think that investors have forgotten how innovative this 4680 actually is?
I don't think they understand.
But I also think that I loved Battery Day.
It's a buying opportunity again.
Well, I was thinking,
we were Tesla investors. I loved Battery Day because that was my theory. It's like, let's see Tesla confirm that they're bringing battery cell production house, go vertical, do that. And they did. But I always think in the Tesla universe, it always gets disappointed.
Did they walk?
Yes, I snuck in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I snuck in at the last minute to actually see the line.
I want to go to Cato with you guys.
You can't.
Dude,
but like they were only letting institutional investors in, and like all the blogger people, they were sort of like, well, sorry guys. And then like
I chatted up a security guard who kind of recognized me, and I was like, bro, like let me in. Like I'm supposed to be there. Like
did you see the security guard following me? Like so I was walking around the plant slow just because I was trying to like see as much as possible.
Ross just pretending
and they had like
secretly,
dude,
like, looking.
No, you didn't remember they took our phones.
Oh, that's true.
They had like this like like Israeli like special forces guy. Literally, he was like trailing me by like a foot, you know, like watching me top to bottom, like he's ready to shoot me. And I was like, listen, buddy, I'm just trying to learn. And that's what I think I've spent a lot of time trying to learn how battery technology actually works. You know, why do I care? I've had great helpers with this. Shout out to Benchmark and Vivis.
Yeah, awesome.
But like when I went to Battery Day, the enormity of what they were trying to do hit me.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, this is a couple of years away. Well, now it's now. Okay. And now this factory is opening. And not only is it the most advanced EV battery production facility in the world, it's in America. And I want to stress this because Biden has done such a horrible job engaging Tesla as an American-made success story under Obama, of all people, his buddy.
This is a win, bro.
It's a huge win.
Let's be like shouting this.
We funded this. Remember Solyndra and all the bad green investments Obama made, and Tesla was the only good investment that the government made.
They should be cheering.
Biden should be cheering it.
Yeah.
GM, they bail it out. Ford, they bail out every freaking week. They're bailing them out, and they're like, hey, Ford is the leader in EV innovation. That's like saying, like, it's like insane. It's insane.
Did you hear the GM was planning on making a $6.6 billion investment into EVs? That came across Twitter today. But then immediately thereafter, we see tweets that Elon Musk himself is paying more in personal taxes than GM is investing into electric vehicles.
That's a really true point.
And then the White House, you see,
scary.
like puts out a press release like right away, being like, "Did you see that GM's investing $7 billion? We're super proud." It was like a coordinated like pump and dump almost of like news.
Well, like Biden's so out of touch.
I actually want to ask
engage the Tesla community, which are basically liberal people who would support him. It's such a stupid strategic move too, right?
And you ran for office as a like kind of forward-thinking Democrat, which is so. I want to give you props for that, bro, because like just like fighting the system,
trying to take on Gavin, the worst.
But I'm curious what you think of like this idea that it's such a big kind of like dropping the ball for the Democratic Party to not embrace Tesla. And I actually think they're making a huge strategic mistake. There's all these kind of like people like myself who, you know, I voted for Biden, you know, don't judge me, but like, no, you know, if you guys tell somebody publicly who you voted for, that's tough. But like, that's real. But I'm like disappointed. I'm like, yo, like I'm a liberal. You say you like climate change. Like, why are we not? And I think they're losing such a key swing voter that it's actually like a critical error by the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
Right the middle is gone.
If you do, if you look at Tesla and cannabis reform, the two things that the Democrats could like rally around that would get young people super energized and super positive on the Biden administration. And now the Republicans are taking cannabis and they're running with it. And they're running around with GM and Ford, which is like the most out of touch like brands you could possibly like align yourself with. Why? To make unions happy. And if he thinks the unions are going to vote him back in 2 or 3 years, he's wrong. It's going to be the kids. And so instead of engaging with the generation that's coming to power, which is the millennial generation, they're still trying to make boomers happy, who are all on their, you know, on the last leg, you know. And I love the boomers, but it's time. Like Nancy Pelosi, now she's going to run again. She's 81 years old. It's absurd.
We need an age limit. We need an age limit. Like I was thinking president, it's like you got to be above 34 or 40 or whatever. It's like, let's cap it at 50, 40 to 50.
Wait,
we know that's the sweet spot.
Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. 50 is a really good age, young fella.
Okay, you're right. 60,
I'm at the top of my game,
60,
man.
Ross,
you know what
should be president.
60
you got my vote.
60 is very young too. I know it's hard to imagine, but like, my dad is 85 and he's still working. That's absurd.
And to be on your side,
so
like I do
it's
get
70 or 75,
like how much do you respect your grandpa? Like, okay, it's like, yeah, he's not
my
like
grandpa's dead.
He's
dude.
I know, but like, well, still both are mine. But but like you respect your grandpa so much. Like, okay, he's a little old, like maybe he's not doing everything he used to, but like his wisdom and like his philosophy is like something that we should I don't know. I kind of think we don't respect old people enough in general. And we're like,
I think our whole society's rigged for old people.
Kind of.
You don't pay enough taxes.
But like you're walking by some old person, you're like, oh, get out of my way. Like, why are they going so slow?
Is that what you say?
No, but I mean, I guess.
Kids,
but,
no,
but it's like I just think in general we don't like appreciate the wisdom that old people have.
Well, question
I
for you
think
guys
younger people might be true.
What's something before I forget? I just want to throw this in there. This certification. Who certifies the cars that are going to be produced at the Gigafactory Austin with the 4680s? And is that potentially going to be held up by whatever government regulatory body has to approve these?
No, I don't think it's like that kind of thing. I think
Okay.
what it is, it's like an internal thing where they have to validate, like if we make, let's say 5,000 in a week, that the
Mhm.
quality and the standards are the same and that the battery packs.
But they have to
work.
get approved for road.
I'm sure there's some state approval.
I mean, that
probably.
is a big milestone.
I don't think
for like the
that's a
state.
concern.
It's probably not a
because
federal
I
approval.
don't-
It's probably a
I don't
state
think the
thing.
state is going to understand structural battery.
No,
And
it's
I wonder-
Texas. They'll
Yeah, it's
True.
Okay.
The Texas
It's
is going to help
Texas,
them.
okay.
Texas
Yeah,
is
I
gonna
got the California hat on.
yeah, dude,
But
you got the
sometimes when I
wrong
think
hat
about
on in
that,
Texas.
And I'm also like, you know, Tesla's thought this stuff out. They're like, oh, the Cybertruck's not going to have like the little mirrors, so it's not going to even be allowed to be sold. Like, this is a
Yeah.
flop. And you're like,
Yeah.
dude, like Tesla's a car company. They sell 1 million cars. Like, they're going to figure out how to like make it legal. You know,
Yeah,
like
just the same. We're
you know,
having
like-
these problems in Berlin, which
Berlin.
is
If
the-
you said this about
right,
Berlin, I would be
right.
like,
Okay.
Berlin might
Right.
might trip them up.
Okay.
with
No,
that.
it's happening
'Cause
right
yeah,
now.
it is happening.
I mean, right now they should just approve Berlin to open. It's
Sure.
there's not much more to it, but they've got kind of bogged down with some of the politics in Germany.
And now it's just test production.
Well, and the whole ignorance of the German government allowing these things to stall only puts them at a
Yeah.
less of a competitive advantage to Asia and the United States in EV production. Like, it's super dumb. I mean, how is Volkswagen, all these see, China was like, open up your factory, Tesla. We'd love you to train
China's
all our
crushing
people,
it.
Yeah.
right? But
Why
think about
did
all the
I-
ex-employees of Tesla China. They're going to go to NIO. They're going to go to
That's
all these
true.
companies, BYD, and they have this technological advantage. That's why, like Saudi Arabia bought Lucid, and they want to put a plant in Saudi Arabia. I mean, that's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But it's good for Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
Because they're like, oh, we'll steal all the technology and we'll force people to work in this plant with slave labor, but who cares,
Why
right?
am I somehow connected to the two dumb governments? I was born in Germany and I live in California.
Well, honestly, Germany has done pretty well from where they were, 60 or 70 years ago. So I wouldn't say it's that bad.
Sure.
I
They
think,
are the powerhouse of Europe economically,
right,
but
and I
still,
would say
this
the
Tesla
EU
thing-
is a
Of
big
Europe,
issue.
not as dope.
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah,
Europe.
of
The
Europe,
economic
of Europe.
powers of Europe.
Yeah, but once again, it's the shaking up of the establishment. German establishment automakers are the most established
Right.
industry in Germany, one of the most successful industries in Germany.
Yeah.
And here comes this American upstart with new technology that could potentially totally disrupt those companies.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a big deal they were actually able
Yeah.
to get a factory built there and all this stuff. And so I get the forces in there that are trying to slow Tesla
like-
down, but it's ultimately going to hurt them more than it
But it's
helps.
like another home run that Biden's leaving on the table. It's like we beat the Germans 70 years ago, and now we're beating them today in cars. And it's like, you know,
Yeah.
like we're still on the come up. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I
don't know.
mean, to
But-
think that American cars, like we're talking about Ford, even in the breadth of Tesla, is a true testament to actually Ford, that they've adapted to the EV world to some degree.
I mean, yeah, the Mach-E's
it's
like,
a
all
decent
right, it
car.
looks kinda
Listen,
cool.
I pulled up into the lot the other day where all the EV spaces are, and it used to be 100% Teslas, and now there's a few of these Mach-E's in there, and I'm like, this is great. This is great. It's great that somebody else is making a car people will buy.
Ooh, and the Rivian store just opened up. I'm actually going to go to it and
The
make
one
a
in
video.
Abbot Kinney, are you
I'd
talking
love if you guys are totally invited. Yeah, in Abbot Kinney.
Yeah, we've done that, and the store is really nice, and they've kind of set this whole like vibe thing up with the camping. But it still comes down to, I want a truck, I want to drive the truck, I want to take it out, see what it can do. I still don't have one. Kevin finally got me a Lucid that took forever, and so I think for me, it's like you can go to Lucid store, you can go to the Rivian store, you can go to the Tesla store, you can go to all these stores, but you want to really try the product. And that's the thing about Rivian that I'm concerned about, is their production, because one of the advantages Lucid had was they actually had a pretty good expertise in battery and car production. And they, a bunch of German guys work there too. So they know what they're doing. And they still have had enormous issues. So think about scaling Rivian with a truck.
Yeah.
So, that's so enjoy the store, but it's kind of like, where's the truck?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I'm with you.
it's
I
like,
just want to
where's the
see it.
beef? Where's the beef? Are you old enough for that? Where's the beef? No, you're too young.
Neither
you
of
guys
us understand.
there
this
was
one.
a Wendy's
Where's he going
commercial.
with this?
Yeah.
It was like this old lady.
He's talking about meat again.
Yeah,
He's always
I mean,
talking about his meat.
It's like
man.
the hamburgers were too small. God, you guys are so
Your meat
young.
was too small. What?
No, it's a Wendy's. It was a Wendy's commercial.
Are you invested in Rivian?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Okay.
Actually,
definitely.
I feel like I'm a big fan of Rivian. I just think my price target's been
Yeah.
$4.20 a share, and that is like $4.20. That is the intrinsic
Why-
value of
why
Rivian as an
$4.20?
entity. And I know that like
Why 420 and not 320?
because they're 4 billion and they're producing 10,000, 20,000 cars a year. You should be at a 4 or 5 billion market cap.
Yeah,
You have
like where
5
Tesla
years
was.
left to profitability. You're selling a 90K car that costs you $1 million to build or 7 million to build. Like, dude, you want to know a hot take prediction? Rivian may never be profitable on a gross profit basis. Like they never even make money on the car ever because they're so far from that. It's gonna take them so many quarters.
You think GM will just buy him or something?
Actually, I think
it's Amazon.
Amazon buys them, they mess up, the stock tanks, Amazon gets a fire sale. I could totally
the advantage
see
for
that.
Amazon is that they are one of the biggest polluters in the world. And so the fact they're driving these trucks around all day is not good. And they are the biggest investor in Rivian in the sense that they said, here's 100,000 orders, here's money, so on and so forth. Ford also is a big investor in Rivian, owns 10%. And they decided not to build a truck together, but Ford ended up scoring with this 10% position. So like when you think about Rivian scaling and what Tesla went through scaling, it was 5,000 cars a week is where you break even on EVs. So that's what it is. It's the same with Polestar. When I met with Polestar, the same issue. They're like, we'll make money when we make 250,000 cars a year. Okay. So how do I
real?
No, but
that's
real. You know, if you look at projections, you're like, okay, we're at 29,000 cars. We're going to go to 59,000 cars. We're going to do 150,000 cars, 250. And now we're profitable. And that's exactly what happened with Tesla. So we know the numbers, at least 250,000 cars out of a factory. And so until Rivian's doing 250,000 trucks, I don't see how they make money. And I don't know when that's going to be. So with Tesla, we had a roadmap and we had factories that were being built that we knew what production would be. With Rivian, I don't think they've gone that far as like, hey, we can put trucks on the road.
Yeah. And it's kind of that like fallacy of it's like the next Tesla is like Tesla or like the next Tesla will be in food. Like what we're saying, like a new meat company. I think actually, you know, like the new it's
this was Apple, then Tesla. Like, what's the next one of those?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and it may take us another 10 years to find out.
I did this speech. You know, my first part of my career, I wrote Apple. I found Apple long ago, and Steve Jobs, and I wrote it for a long time, and still writing it.
I mean, you could have just written those two companies.
That's what's happening,
dude. You don't need to be right much in your career.
And then we started with
really
Tesla
right and like capitalize on it and like make money when
and
you're
stick with it.
And
stick with it.
Because a lot of my homies were like, they're getting fancy. Tesla's at 800. Callie, you should see my DCF. We're overvalued. This is 800 pre-split. This is like 100 now. You know, and they're like, I'm like, you know, and so that's how I still feel about Tesla now. I'm like, but you just.
No, I think you give Tesla another 8 years, right? If you go 10 years.
We're in early inning. This is Tesla's decade. That's what I'm thinking.
I 100% agree. I mean, that's the basis of my fund right now, GK. And after this call, I'm kind of really want to up my allocation. For us,
the Tesla bot or what?
Yeah, well,
there's margin going up in Q4 for me.
48.60.
Just the fact that margin went up while everybody's complaining about supply chain issues. They still increased margin. We don't even have the 4680s yet. I did notice that their energy deployment went down on storage, which I was initially bummed about. but then they talked about that, how they're prioritizing cars, which they have mentioned before, and I'm totally fine with that. But that probably means, and I believe that there is plenty of demand for those batteries in people's homes, the power walls.
And
those are big profit,
and the
huge profit by the way. Solar panels, profitless business. Terrible business to be in. Inverters and wall batteries. Like the company Enphase.
Well, we own Solar Edge. It's the same business, right?
Enphase and Solar Edge are the two best these days, right?
Well, they're making a killing, but they're the brains of your solar panel. So that's why they get margin, because without them, the solar panels are just kind of like sitting there. And so you have inverters and batteries where you have profit margin, but batteries only have margin and scale. And that's where Tesla wins. You know, there's a couple other companies that make batteries that we're invested in, like SunPower has the solar battery system. And
you mean for like cities, the arrays?
This is for homes, residential, but they sell like basically they sell you the system. You know, you get the whole thing. SunPower is also a cheap stock right now. But when you look at Tesla as a whole, compared to the other solutions like a SunPower, which I like and is in my fund, but that business is not as good as the way Tesla's doing it. Because if I can scale mega battery packs to small battery packs, especially for the electric utilities and solar.
You saw they put one up in Oxnard?
Yeah.
The city, what were the mega packs?
They
got a whole mega pack
they're super efficient.
Wait, where is this around here?
Super efficient. It's close to where I live. It's about 10 minutes from where I live, about an hour north.
And what are they? They're like stabilizing the grid, kind of.
Yeah, they were
they
going to build a
stabilized
new refinery there.
Yeah.
Was the theory, and they just put megapacks there instead.
No, but
Dude, this is like that just like warms my heart.
No,
I'm
but
like,
think-
why is that
think
not on
about
the front page? Like,
Uh-huh.
we stopped the coal plant. We're putting in like clean energy. Like,
Yeah.
Right. But
That's
think about it
dope.
from this level. In California, what happens is it gets really hot, let's say in October, and the wind starts blowing real hard. And so what happens now is PG&E just shuts off the power for everybody, because if the power lines go down, it starts these fires.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Ah.
Okay. So now every year they just, we're shutting everything down. Now let's say they put some mega packs outside the cities. So what happens is you charge these things up, and then when you have to shut everything down, everybody doesn't lose power now. And so you can run them for 3, 4, 5 hours. And so the efficiency for utilities is huge. And then when you talk about renewable energy, it's like a no-brainer. You like, how do you have a solar project and not have a mega pack? It's like you lose half your efficiency by not having the battery. And so
For now, it's a cost issue, though. Because like natural gas, I think you're running 3 to 5 cents a kilowatt hour.
no, but it's
Whereas-
changing.
It is. But
It's
I
hard
mean,
to
you're
compete with
you're at
that.
18 cents
I know.
for these mega packs now. So
Mm.
that's going to come down though. And in California, they don't let you build new gas peaker plants.
Right.
So we can't. The only choice we have are the mega packs. So we pay 4x. That's why everything's
Right.
more expensive out here. The gas tax in California is like $1 a gallon. It's
Right.
insane.
Well, I think it should be
Interesting.
higher personally, but it's like,
should we do Tesla?
Yeah, I
tequila?
think it's
We
time.
not- it's your Tesla tequila, so I don't.
You know,
I'm saying,
I was trying
No,
to
we don't
Or
touch
like-
it.
I was trying to force it upon
Thanks for bringing it up.
Kevin last night.
Yeah.
And Kevin's like, why did I drive out here?
Yeah, I'm all looking at it, man.
It's gonna be on autopilot on the way home. I know we're still working
Oh,
on the
but-
official GK Tesla tequila shot glasses. So bear with.
No, but what you guys are saying about this energy stuff, to me, where this is all going. So we have cars, that's big. We have the Tesla bot, that's big.
So I give
But
you the
the
under
energy-
30 size shot, because us 50
That's
year olds
bigger,
that
right?
aren't maybe
Yeah.
too old to handle
Yeah.
themselves.
Your liver's a little old. You get the small one. We'll take the big
Yeah,
one.
well, yeah. Honestly, Ross, I don't even think you
my
should have
liver,
any. Right? Just
actually
let us
my
have
liver
it.
is well established.
It's been well
Your
primed.
liver's all pink and new and stuff. I don't want to dent it.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So this energy thing though, I'm on this idea that I think Tesla will be the backbone of the crypto markets, which are the backbone of world finance, because
Mhm.
crypto is secured by energy.
Yeah.
And Tesla, everybody will have the ability to participate in crypto mining because they will be energy asset owners because they'll have solar and they'll have batteries.
We have not started this section of the show where we go into out there stage.
No, this is out. Okay, maybe I should have brought it up, but I just think to me, this is like, what am I thinking that I think nobody's paying attention about that is going to be alpha in 10 years from now that people don't get about the Tesla story now? It's that this is an energy company, which means it's a finance company because energy and finance are colliding. And this, we can't, and it's just so obvious to me. And now I'm like, wait, like Tesla's in the sweet spot to
It is.
just, so.
and
I mean,
what's
you
worth-
could look at it from a crypto miner's perspective, where I could just buy this solar thing, put this battery in, and put in a bunch of computers and mine Bitcoin for free. There's no energy cost. So I absolutely agree with the statement you made that the intersection between energy and finance, it's kind of like this whole crypto thing is that.
Yeah,
And yet
exactly.
it forces, this is, I think, what Elon did with his argument, forcing green energy solutions to build this infrastructure versus, oh, well, I'm just going to build it, wherever and pay 23 cents and use natural gas and who gives a shit? Because then crypto is not as an attractive
No.
Right?
as a system.
Well, one of the things that I thought was really interesting is because we're talking about these innovative ideas and things that could come down the line, whether it's the Optimus or even the 4680, which I don't think markets understand at all. I thought it was really interesting. I was reading the Bloomberg blog on Tesla earnings, and they write, Musk is a visionary, but it really does feel like he's on another planet when it comes to how he sees autonomous versus the rest of the autonomous vehicle industry. I just think it's interesting that you get the reporters, the mainstream reporters, who are informing a lot of institutions, who say things like Musk is on another planet.
Who wrote that?
This is Gabrielle Kapala,
Okay,
Autos reporter.
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
That he's on another planet.
Yeah.
Well, with the FSD thing, this is a good one to
Yeah.
unpack.
Like, see, I've
Yeah.
worked with I was telling you, like the Luminar guy, this guy Austin, who's building Luminar, who's a genius, and they think he's like this little boy Elon guy. And I've met him, and he is really smart. And what he's doing at Luminar is super cool.
Yes.
You'd have to do a toast. My bad.
Yeah, I think we should do a toast.
let's do a
Let's do a toast.
Woo!
To, it's my two favorite YouTubers in the same room.
Yay.
That's unbelievable.
This is epic.
I know. I've seen Kevin now 2 days in a row. It's like we're family.
Wow, we're supposed to do all of it. So this is
He's a kid.
2 days in a row tequila.
No, I'm classy.
Listen, you
bro. I'm
started
keeping
it.
it class.
You
That's
started
adulting right there.
You said
Sipping
50-year-olds
tequila.
can't run for office. I'm gonna have to go home and like unpack this for like hours. Dude, you know it's not easy being 50. It's not easy being 50.
Upside struck a
You
chord.
know,
My
I
bad.
don't
My
live a
bad.
50-year-old's
My bad.
life. Yeah,
Yes.
you listen. I'm sensitive.
Don't worry. I will see FSD
Listen, it's all
be
good.
achieved, and I will make sure, like,
Drink your drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, drink your drink at least. So, full self-driving, and I think from the arguments I've had with the LiDAR-based people, and the arguments I've had with the people who didn't like when he went to vision only, and the people who don't believe at all that it's even achievable. One of the things that I constantly see with these people is that their brains are stuck in the box. And it's not that they're dumb, but there's this box that we believe in what's possible. And one of the hardest things for people to do is to step outside the box. We say this all the time, like, oh, he's thinking outside the box. But even the saying is kind of like in the box, right? And, you know, it's kind of like why psychedelics have become this big thing for mental health. And if you use psychedelics, especially these new ones, you can really control your trip to be very mild, but it opens your mind. That's the whole idea of psychoanalysis and using psychedelics for therapy.
Sounds like mind medicine. Have you seen that?
You're right.
Yeah.
And I
like
believe
Steve Jobs. He was like, I can tell you never took acid. He said that to people.
Right. And most people haven't done this in their lives. And I would argue there's a lot of value to it. And that's kind of like why this is becoming a healthcare product, mushrooms. And so when you think outside the box and you actually leave your head for a little bit, what you find is possibilities that, really are almost hard to grasp, and you almost can't even talk to them with lots of people because they'll say, oh, you're on another planet, but like, he is on another planet, but you have to open your mind to it.
So you're actually twisting this back to him being on another planet is a good thing.
Yes,
because
that's
they're
the whole
making this seem like a bad
point.
thing.
If he was on this goddamn planet, we wouldn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, like if it were up to her, the journalist writing that, like we wouldn't be working on FSD.
That's
if it was up to her, there's no chance. It's
it's
too
too
hard.
dangerous. It's scary. I don't want to do
money,
that.
And it won't work.
Every single accomplishment in the history of humans, that person was crazy.
That's true.
Okay, whether it was Columbus or whether it was the guy who climbed Everest first, Hillary, what's his name? This guy was climbing mountains. So what's his name? I think it was William Hillary or something. He was the first guy to climb Everest. It was like 1920.
Hillary, does this have to do with emails?
No. You're still caught on that.
Yeah.
No,
Big
but
politics
like,
guy.
but like they're like, you're gonna climb Everest with like a heavy coat and a couple gloves, and he's like, yeah, and he did it. He ultimately did die.
Compass.
Yeah,
no phone.
He
You actually use the compass. Can you?
It's like we used to talk about, like when we used to drive around without GPS. Like we'd have to actually find this. How did you get anywhere? But like human history is just filled with massive innovation from these off the planet people, and that's how you know you're betting on the right guy. If they wrote, oh, Elon is exactly what we think he should be, and he fits perfectly in the box like Tim Cook, and everything's happy and jolly every day, we'd have a Tim Cook stock.
You want to talk about Lucid's vision of the butt vibrator?
Oh my God. So I get in this car. I get in this Lucid, and it's got this. Well, it's got this massage thing going on. So Kevin's like messing with me while I'm driving, and the massage chair is messing with. No, okay, not Kevin. Physically.
Damn, I didn't remember this. I don't remember you tweeting this part.
No, I'm vibrating.
I'm driving, and he's like, "Hey, check out the massage thing," and it's like massaging my back, and then it like moves down into my lower back, and then it's like massaging my butt. Next thing I know, and I was like, "Kevin, what the hell is this thing? Like, I can't drive with this thing, I was like, "You gotta turn it off." So that yes, the Lucid is set up with a very interesting massage chair. and I highly recommend it if you.
Is it actually good? Like, what's it like? What's up with those features?
No,
Are you
it's
feeling
weird.
like a king?
You're like trying to drive, and it's like weird because it's like
The thing is, we usually when you sit in a massage chair, like at the malls, you go to the massage chairs, you feel the like balls in your back, right? Because they're traditional massage
that
chairs.
sounded really weird.
Right. Oh my gosh.
No, I feel you though. I know what you're talking about.
This is a regular car
That
seat
sounded
where
weird,
you could
too.
sit in it, and so you don't feel that it's a massage chair, which means you're going to get less of that impact of a massage because you don't have that pressure going into your back as much. Which makes it feel more like a vibrating booster seat than a massage. I'm not a massage person, so I'm not probably.
You're not a
the best to know.
massage person?
No, never had one.
What?
Well, pour more tequila and we'll talk more. But
Oh my god!
Lauren likes massages, and she says it's a little bit of a tease in terms of being a massage chair. So it's kind of like she didn't love it.
So massage experts are.
Well, no,
probably out.
The
on
real
it.
massage chairs are kind of these big
Exactly.
things. There's like,
Yeah.
"Rrr."
So
But,
mixing both, it's interesting. I think it's good for certain people.
We got to
who-
get Kevin baked and a massage.
Okay.
It'll change your
In
freaking
a
life.
Lucid.
It-
Wow.
It'll
Next
change your
video.
life. I know. It will.
Hey, the back of the Lucid is really spacious. I will say.
I know.
Like
Well,
the
isn't it kind of
S-Max.
built for like a executive?
It
Yes.
is. It's
It's
a Maybach.
very nice.
Yeah. It's
Oh, and
definitely
they have
like a
this
Maybach.
thing in the
Maybach
front.
style?
Yeah, it's like you
Wow,
can
that's
sit in the
really-
front or you can sit in the back and you're styling. So it's set up for like, the guys who killed Khashoggi when they need a ride around in Saudi
Bro,
Arabia.
you can't.
What? Did Saudi Arabia kill Khashoggi?
Is this on your channel?
Is that a
Yeah,
secret?
that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're demonetized.
I'm demonetized. Okay. I mean,
Oh,
no, but
you can't monetize Saudi Arabian murder?
I don't know.
How does it work?
Hey,
No,
let's take a shot.
Yeah, let's, anyway,
I
we're
thought
taking
that
a
was
shot.
public information.
No, but
Cheers.
no, but I. Okay,
Cheers. Mm.
So I can tell you
Nosotros.
the massage chairs are exactly why Lucid will fail in the executive seat. It's like, oh, so it's a luxury car in the area where car drives itself, but we built it so you sit in the back to get driven.
It's for Saudi
It
Arabia.
doesn't make sense.
It's for Saudi
I know,
Arabia.
but I'm
You're
just
not
saying-
a prince. You've never been
this is
driven around
different.
like
This is
a
different because
prince.
we're talking about Lucid. You have a company that's worth $80 billion, $60 billion that people take seriously. That I'm just like, and I don't want to hate
It's
on Lucid. It's
majority
not even about
owned
Lucid,
by
but it's just
Saudi
like the
Arabia.
psychological. Okay, my point here is the psychology of product development. It's a massage chair. Nobody wants a massage while driving. Nobody cares.
Right.
What do you want when you drive? A seat that is really supportive for your back and actually feels good on super long
Well,
road
granted,
trips.
Elon
That's
took
why
our lumbar
Tesla
support.
built their seats in house and has a way better seat. And I'd rather have Tesla's seat that actually is functional
Well,
than
it's a
some
good
BS
seat. It's
Lucid
a good
massage
seat.
thing.
It's a good seat. The
It's- you know
Lucid
where-
seat.
where's
it's a good
the
seat.
issue?
Whoa, it's a good seat.
It's a
okay?
good
It's a
seat.
good seat.
I
I mean,
like
You know where
the
the issue is?
It's the
The issue
massage
is
chair wasn't necessary.
well, and that's gonna hit margins. Now that'll
Yeah,
hit,
right? I'm like,
but,
and then
but-
they're missing
are
a
you
part.
but then again, this is the $180,000 model. Did they just remove that feature for the $140K versus
Yeah.
the $80K?
I think that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
Like, I think you strip down some of that bull crap and make the car like more easy to build and
Probably.
scalable, and you get it down to 120,000 price point, and
But
you
they're
will
only-
sell 100,000 a year.
They're only 300 in terms of production. So
I know. Well,
so
they made
what
300.
else is your take though? Is it like fast? Is the
Oh,
range
yeah.
It's
dope?
fast as
Is
hell.
it
It's
it's
fast as
great.
hell?
You feel the power. I'll make a full review video on it. It's
Yeah,
You should.
it's for a different
Only 200
consumer.
people have them. So.
Yeah. Well, I think the way to look at it is I think Tesla's demographic core is probably what 70-80% male and then 25 to 45. I would
No,
say
there's a lot of girls who buy Teslas.
yeah,
I think
statistically
he's generally
I
right
think,
though.
I think, yeah,
Okay. I mean, maybe it's Santa Monica's different.
Santa Monica is definitely different.
Yeah. It is. No, I mean, it is.
Lucid is probably going to be your 50 to 65 crowd. I would imagine that's probably
For sure.
They
For
want
sure.
they want the Mercedes style quality.
Yeah,
the
like my partner
finishes.
Danilo. I was tweeting him
yeah.
this morning. I go, or I texted him. I go, this is your car because he
Yeah.
doesn't love his Tesla
Yeah.
Model Y.
Yeah.
It's not like nice enough for
Exactly.
him.
Yes.
He doesn't care about the technology
Yes.
that much.
Bingo.
He likes a high quality car, which
And
I
there's nothing
totally
wrong with
get
that.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
I
a
do
different
too.
consumer.
It's just a
Yeah.
different consumer.
Yeah.
And
I don't
that's
know.
what I
This
told
guy
him.
I'm
I go,
beefing with him though.
no, but like I get where he's coming from in his frustrations. And remember, he's from Brazil, and when he grew up, Brazilian inflation was very high.
Yeah.
So what people used to do,
10%.
I know, but it was worse then. It was like 25.
Oh.
And so they would buy American cars like a Ford or a Chevy, and they would go up in value. So he
That's
loved
hell of money.
he
Yeah.
loves these old American cars kind of thing, because that's what he grew up like. Oh, I'm styling. So he likes the car. So the technology stuff it's not his thing. It's like he's kind of like, I miss the car. So the Lucid is a perfect car for somebody like that who doesn't care about the technology, wants a luxury vehicle that can compete with a high-end Mercedes or a Bentley or a Maybach or something. And I think Lucid fills that void. That's not a big business though.
That's not a $50 billion company.
Right.
It's like a $3 billion, like $5 billion.
If you can make,
if they can trickle,
if you can make 25,000 cars at 200,000, what is that? 5 billion, right, in revenue. So you could give them a $20 billion valuation, right? If they can make that, that many cars. But the valuation today,
but it's like, so am I going to pay triple that with all the execution risk? Hell no.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's why I'm like, I actually think Lucid and Rivian and these EV startups, like I'm all for them. They have hella potential. It's just like, I'm a buyer at 1/50th the valuation. Like not an exaggeration. That's just what it is.
Well, that's what will happen though. We're waiting for Rivian and Lucid to come down.
There's going to be a
Lucid I can't buy,
pop.
but Rivian I would like to buy, but it's a $20 stock. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, already.
Yeah.
And actually, the one thing you said about Brazil, my best friend Julian, he's Brazilian, and so growing up, he had his grandma, vovó, super Brazilian, and she would tell us this saying, or she had this saying, it's like, you don't have the money till you spend it. Because inflation happens so fast. It's like spend it and get food and like get the food.
Well,
and I just think people don't because
they would change the milk
power
price
of that
through the day.
Yeah. So that mentality to me is like just thinking of that thing and where we're going now. US inflation picking up, is crypto money, like just that you don't realize in America that people actually live with that kind of like fear of like, my money's not money. My money's not going to hold my value.
Right.
Anyway, it's a tangent.
We've never really had that in America in our lifetimes where people were super concerned that the value of the money was dropping so quickly that we needed to immediately convert it into a good
or put it into invested or something. We don't have that mindset.
Even though that's where you can find deflation right now is investing.
That's true.
Kathy Wood's right. Her investment fund has been deflating.
I think she closed at $60.
That's good. I love Kathy Wood. She's awesome.
She's awesome.
We got to
We all like Kathy Wood, except that she lost everybody's money. So that being said,
she made a lot of people a lot of money on Tesla. I think it's
150 to 70. The 69 is not a good ride.
The average buy-in was 90. Average on K. It's 70 right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Over the last 2.5 years, because including 2020 or whatever.
All I'm going to say is ARK's the only firm on the street who saw Tesla and Bitcoin early and made a bunch of money on it.
You saw Tesla?
Yeah, but like
we
I'm just saying, excluding like
no, you're absolutely right. Like I love the team at ARK. I think they're super smart. I think what they're suffering from is too many smart people who never traded stocks.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last night. Yeah. They hire the smartest people in their industries, but not people who come from trading stocks. Right. And so I think they've gotten a little too caught up in their philosophy and not as much experience in markets. And that's what's hurt them. And
look, everybody
got lucky.
Well,
like it's easy to think you're a dope person investing in innovators when you bet on Elon, and then it's like, oh wait, like that guy who started the gene editing company like actually didn't do what he said he was going to do.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, like
that's why you got to stick with Tesla. So that's why she was pissing me off selling her Tesla and reinvesting in all these losers.
What is she?
Because I'm like, dude, the one guy who's fucking delivered is Elon. Like it's the opposite for me.
Well, I think it's
like I know it is so clear what Tesla will do over the next 5 years. Yeah. There was a lot of doubt 5 years ago what Tesla would do. But when you look at Tesla today with $18 billion in cash, like if you go back to the 17 numbers, like in the financials, they had $3 billion in cash. Yeah. And that was
like burning like $1.5 billion a quarter. Like,
and we were like,
that's why earnings matter. We're earnings just scrolling to the balance sheet being like, are we still a company? Like,
and remember when we were like, Elon, you got to take money. Elon, you got to take money. It was 2018. You got to take money. It was me, you, and Gene at the
and like, stop promising we're gonna hit 5,000 cars. We never are hitting it. We're running out of money, dude.
Right.
That's why
that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I think? To your point of not having traders at Kathy's firm, everybody makes mistakes. But one of the things I've think was a big problem is that, like you said, they're doubling down on these trades where people are getting out of right now,
right?
Which is stay at home,
right?
Like Zoom well, I'm sure will be a great company 5-10 years.
Right.
But you are on a very clear trend away from
Right.
investing in stay-at-home companies right
That's
now.
right.
And they are doubling down on stay-at-home
Right.
companies while
Like we're buying
reducing their
MGM.
allocation.
Like we're buying MGM because people are going out
Wow.
and they want to party. And she's buying the stuff that worked 2 years ago.
Sure.
And I do love Zoom. It's exactly what you're saying. It's not that. It's the tide comes out and the tide comes
Sure.
in. And she's buying while the tide's coming in.
Yeah.
And the problem with the inflexibility of the ideas is she's selling a really good stock to do it. And that's really the hard part. When you're selling losers and reinvesting, okay, fine. But when you're selling your biggest winner of all time, the innovator of our generation, and you're taking from that, there is no other place to put money that's better. So it's almost a guaranteed loser if you sell Tesla and reinvest it somewhere else. I've done that a few times, and I can tell you it probably hasn't made me money, even though it's made my portfolio safer. But it hasn't made me money to diversify.
And this is a big insight because what do we love Kathy Wood for? Going against the norm. But what is selling your winners, doubling down on your losers? That's an incentivized like box you're in because you're a fund manager and you have to have the weightings and you have to do this. Like you're not just managing the capital in the way you think's best. You're letting the tail wag the dog. I don't know if they legally had to or not, but to me, that's already the sign of like, Ark, what made you great? You were different than Wall Street. So this industry norm of rebalancing positions, selling your dopest winners when you're a long-term firm and doubling down on your losers, that's just a symptom of the system. Why are we?
It's partially a symptom of the system, but it's also very much the way she manages money put her in that position because many of her positions aren't big companies. And so when she needs liquidity, she has to sell her biggest companies. And that's Tesla. And so in a way, she put herself in a tough position because when she needs liquidity, she's got to sell Tesla, which is the best stock, and all those other things she can't sell at all because they'll just crate her even worse.
That's true.
Okay.
She's so big, she'll take them, like Ark will drive them down.
When you got like a $7 billion company and Ark owns a big chunk of you and Ark has 50 billion in assets, right? It's like some of those companies, they own like 20% of, 15% of their smaller caps. You can't get out. And see, for an ETF, that's a bad thing to be. So with my ETF, it's a little bit different because we own mostly big cap companies that are liquid. So I don't have to sell Tesla if I need liquidity. I've got Abbott Labs or I've got Microsoft or whoever.
We just turned negative in after hours.
Did we talk down the stock?
I mean, well, I know it was down
first of all,
5%.
What's the rule about after hours?
Well, it's garbage.
It's garbage. So we're not talking about it.
Okay. Fine.
You're giving credence to garbage.
All right.
After hours.
Where are we going with it? I don't know. I'm curious. Where's he going?
Well, it's. I believe, for example, Elon Musk, I thought made a very good point that we should not judge Tesla in the rearview mirror on margins because of the power of full self-driving and the margins that we're going to be getting out of people actually buying FSD once it broadens. And I think this is, I don't know, maybe you guys talked about it before I came in, but I think this is probably one of the most important things that came out of that conference call was, in fact, on the way over here, Gabe, who I was with in the car, he's like, oh, well, they just raised the price on FSD, right? Did that maybe help them with the margins? I'm like, no, that
hasn't even come in yet.
That was in January. So that hasn't even come in yet. So, that is pure profit. And I think Elon Musk is sending the signal. Look, he said in the conference call, we think full self-driving is going mainstream in 2022. He was so confident. I think one of the most confident things he said in this call was, FSD is happening this year. Like,
because he sees the data. He sees what we don't see.
But that's a reason to be bullish.
Yeah, you're making a really good point here. And I'm actually hoping Tesla gets hammered.
Yes, or buy more. The safest investment, let me say really quick.
It really is something.
The safest investment right now outside of like a diversified fund that gets the exposure to 40, 50 stocks or more, like even the S&P 500. I think the safest single stock bet to make, and if Tesla follows, people take me out of context, but whatever, there are plenty of haters, is Tesla. Tesla is an ETF of its own. It is personally, like if I had a choice right now, and this is insane, but then again, I do crazy things. If I had a choice right now, which I do, because I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. Yeah. If I had a choice right now between, if somebody's like, Kevin, you could go 100% right now into the S&P 500 or 100% into Tesla with the $20 million or whatever that I have.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, right?
Tesla.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I'm with you. I love what you said about an ETF.
Oh,
Dude, that was brilliant, bro. Like Tesla and Elon saying it's a
I stole that
collection
from
of
a commenter.
startups.
Well, it's
Okay,
it's
no,
a
but
little-
it's good.
a
You're
little
picking
bit
up on the
more-
good. That's the way
it's-
to think about it. Like Tesla's strong, and what I think about it's also like, okay, we can look at the financials today, but I don't care if we're not as long as we're solvent. I don't care about the financials because we're not at maturity. So
Right.
I'm talking about Tesla.
Right.
Well, who gives a shit what's FSD's making today? That's what Elon's saying. Don't look in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
It's like we're developing technology that will create an autonomous car. Nothing else matters.
I think-
if we solve that, this is a like that's
I think for
that's
the
it.
viewers, you know, one of the points I try to make that I think, and I've said it over and over again, that if you're not invested in Tesla, it will be the biggest mistake you've ever made as an investor.
Yeah.
Because I look at all the stocks. Okay. I get paid to, make my clients money. Ideally we do that this year so far, not so good.
But everybody's been getting hammered this
yeah.
year. I mean,
No,
unless
no,
you
that's
went
not
into
the point.
oil.
I'm not done with
and
the year. It's January.
shorts.
You think I've given up? No,
No.
because Tesla is going to have a great year.
Listen to this. after you're done.
But I think it's so important for investors. You kind of what you were just saying. If you own one stock and you had to own one, it's a no-brainer that it's
No-brainer.
Tesla.
Listen
right?
to this, Kathy, because you had mentioned this. She now owns 18.52% of Arcturus, which has been a horrible performer for them. 12, and then it goes down
Of the whole company.
of the entire company.
Yeah, see, that's a problem.
It's huge, but it's not just that. It's 12% of Beam, 12% of Berkeley Lights, 11 to 12% of Surface, Signify, Compugen, Circle. These are huge positions. I mean,
She can't sell them. That's
I mean,
the
the
problem.
fr-
You're honest. Her fund got too big. It
Yeah,
broke.
she can't
Yeah.
sell.
She has
She
too
can't
much
sell
AUM
these.
Yeah.
where she's
Yeah.
buying too much of these
Yeah.
companies, and it's
Well,
that's
I did some research.
Her problem is she was too
Dude,
good and
yeah,
got too big,
but
Teladoc-
which is funny.
Teladoc-
but
huge.
you know how much
Teladoc
money.
is
But
huge.
first of all,
11%.
do you guys know how much money Kathy Wood makes a year?
herself for
she's
fun?
they're
herself.
huge.
How much do you think she makes?
She's got to be
Couple hundred
almost
mil.
a billionaire.
It's 100 mil.
100 mil.
So she made probably 100 mil last year.
Sure.
Okay. So if you look at the fees that are generated and her ownership percentage in ARC, which is 50 to 75%. Okay.
No, she had partnerships though, didn't she?
No, they only own 25%.
Oh, okay.
She owns ARC
Okay.
and she
Wow.
bought out another stake
Dude,
from
Kathy
Resolute.
Wood is such a badass.
She's literally
Dude,
like cashed in big, and rightfully she deserves it because
Yeah.
like her performance up
early
until
on crypto,
recently
early on
has
Tesla.
been
that was
amazing.
Big. That was big alpha.
and up until reverting to the mean, which she recently has done, her performance has been amazing. But I think what is scary about her situation now is she's kind of alone. Like there's only 33 people that work at ARC. They have 18 investment professionals in the whole firm managing $55 billion. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where the problem lies,
But
is
it's also
these
like
illiquid
it's
positions.
almost like what?
Yes.
Buy 25 bill of Tesla, 10 bill of ETH, 10 bill of Bitcoin. Call that, like if you, but it's I don't know. At
You
a high
should go
level, I'm
over
like,
it. You
this
should
isn't
call-
actually.
you
so,
should call
I'm
her
like,
up.
dude, I could do this myself.
Here's
It's
your
just-
answer. Your
But
answer
I
is
think that's a better portfolio than what she's doing.
Yeah, it is.
here's the problem.
Good time to
ETF
buy.
law, and I'm approximating, I believe is that you cannot have more than 20% in one position. And I believe that the ETF compliance firms do not want you to even allocate anything more than 15%.
No, it's not quite that.
Okay, somewhere
I
around
think
there,
it's
but
even
it's
lower.
10%.
You're onto something.
It's
There's a big
10%.
rule, though.
So to
But-
be a
but I think that's a
diversified
limit.
fund, you can't have
Yeah.
more than 10% in one.
It might be 10,
investment.
but I think that is set
do
by
have an
compliance.
ETF.
No, I know,
yeah.
but I think that's set by the compliance firms. I don't think the law.
It's not. It's not. There's
Either
it's
way,
an Investment Company Act.
The point is, you have those limits, right?
But you don't have the limit
So-
if you're a non-diversified fund.
okay, so
if
explain that because I don't know what
So
that is.
if you're a diversified fund,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have more than 10%.
An ETF would be a diversified fund.
Yeah, a diversified ETF.
Can you have a non-diversified ETF?
Yes, you can have a
Okay, I
non-diversified
didn't know that.
ETF,
Okay, that's
and you
interesting.
can have 30%.
Really?
Look at the XLK has 20% in Apple and
Wow.
20% in Microsoft, for example.
Really?
Yeah, look at that.
I-
Punch up
I
XLK.
did
look at
not
the-
know that.
So they're non-diversified ETFs.
Okay,
So
interesting.
so trying to blame the structure isn't fair. It's not the structure. You can just adjust your structure with FINRA and
Okay.
do a new filing and say we're non-diversified anymore. Now I run a diversified
Wow,
ETF.
dude. XLK, 23% Apple,
Right.
21% Microsoft. I was wrong. But they don't have a lot of holdings.
I mean,
like you
it's
said.
not really fair. I actually have an ETF, so I've been forced to study
Yeah,
this
Ross
shit.
has been.
Well, it's good for the
I've
audience.
spent
to
a
know.
little.
I
little
don't mind
time.
being.
This is
I
hella
don't mind
interesting.
being wrong to help.
No, I mean, I've
folks
spent unfortunately
learn.
a hell of amount of time in securities laws.
I mean,
Um,
being a money manager is not easy. Like
Oh,
they make
really?
it sound easy. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just shouting it out. You and
It's-
Kathy would like
it's hard as hell.
It's hard as
It's
hell.
hard
Like,
as hell.
you got to structure
and I feel
it. What
bad
funder
for
you
Kathy
launch.
right now. I really do because I've
But
gone through
you know
my
what I love about
bad
Kathy
days,
Wood
but-
though is I remember a couple years ago they were like, Kathy Wood, you're the dopest person we've ever, like your performance is amazing. And then she's like, you know what? I'm hot right now. But that's
wait
how
till I'm
market
not.
goes. She's like, that's what happens in markets.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna suck for a while. And then it's a cycle.
she'll
And
be
like
fine.
I just remember seeing
Sure.
that wisdom and like the humbleness and composure to be
Yeah.
like, whoa, don't
Yeah.
get excited. My performance
She's a
looks
very
good
smart
now.
person.
Yeah,
And I
sure.
was
Yeah.
like, that is like
Yeah.
I just think she's kind of like a special, like
Huge respect for
luminary,
her. Yes.
like just legend kind
This
of
is-
space.
this is
do. I
just
have a lot of
XLK
respect for her.
though.
And where I'm most pleased with Kathy was when I was personally going through the same thing Tesla owners.
Well, she
were
was
going
on our
through.
side
She
when nobody was on our side.
That's right.
So
And when I called ARC and we started talking about Tesla, and they knew that we were like the only guys in Tesla too, and we started sharing information and stuff, and then Ron Barron as well. It was me,
Yeah.
Kathy, and Ron Barron. And we were the only firms at Bally Gifford, which Bally Gifford was kind of like, fuck Elon, like he needs to resign. And I was like, come on, Bally.
the British people.
Yeah. And-
a little off the
And we
rails.
stuck with them. And
Out of this world.
Out of this world.
And so I give her a lot of
Turn
credit
them down a wee bit.
the work she did was excellent at the time, and I relied on it, and it helped me make a lot of
It's
money.
incredible.
So I'm very grateful for Kathy. Where I'm upset because we did have millions of dollars in her funds.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm-
really? Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we were.
I mean,
had to
that makes
sell
sense
them.
for your clients. It's a
Yeah,
building.
yeah. ARC was part of our allocation.
Investment vehicle,
Absolutely,
yeah.
because we had similar belief systems, similar investments. So
What?
actually, for smaller accounts, it worked well for us because we didn't have an ETF then. Now we have our own ETF.
Why don't you do this?
To what?
The XLK. Look at this.
We use the XLK all the time.
I mean, because it's like I said, 23% Apple,
You just
21%
found the
Microsoft.
XLK.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I did.
It's a wonderful thing. We've had it
But
for
listen to
years.
this. The
Yeah.
very next allocation is Nvidia
Right.
at 4%
Right.
and Visa at 3%. So in theory, I don't know because this says it's a sector ETF. I don't
It is.
understand.
It's a
I
sector
don't know what that means. But
Technology sector.
But I mean, so Kathy's got the fintech or the ARC-F and the ARC, the innovation or whatever. In theory, if you're saying she could just go to a non-diversified, she could have Tesla at 20% if she
That's
wanted
right.
to.
That's right.
She would just have to reclassify her ETF
That's right.
maybe. But
Mhm.
but she'd probably be up right now. Okay, maybe not. But certainly up more than
Oh.
where she is now.
Tesla's outperformed the market
That's what I'm
this
saying.
year right now. Like Tesla's
huh?
only down a little bit this year. The market's down.
I don't
Nasdaq's
get
down
fact check it, but-
15%.
So, well, okay, kind of shifting a little bit. I'm curious what you guys think of Tesla. Like we're saying,
I think we should do another shot.
yeah, we should do another shot.
How about a double shot this time?
Oh, we're wrapping it
You,
up.
you
Yeah.
want a double shot? Oh, it's my
this
God.
like-
Dude, this has
We've
been.
been do-
I don't
we're doing
know
this
if
for an
y'all are
hour.
having as much fun as we are, but
I
I'm
know.
having so much
I don't know
fun.
if
Thank
people
you
are
for
having
tuning
fun.
in
This
and
half
partying with
shot
us.
stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Dude,
Is
it's
it-
honestly, I feel like it's bad. Like some parties
there's
like
already
guilty,
one
like
in
we're
there.
drinking tequila, but it's like, dude, this was hard.
Why-
I remember
why
when I
would
was
you
in
feel
your office
guilty?
right before the Cybertruck launch,
Yeah.
and we did a live stream like around the
Oh
hall.
yeah.
And it was just so, and we like invited the Tesla community, but that was when like not many people believed in Tesla. It was literally like everybody come to the Gerber Kawasaki
Yeah,
office.
that
We're
was-
just gonna
that was
come
fun.
kick it, and like
That was the
that was
pre.
and it was
Wasn't
before
that the pre-Cybertruck
Cybertruck.
launch?
This is a Tesla
Yeah.
at 200-300 a share before split. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is like, and I just remember, and so
Well,
I
this
don't
is
know.
the fun stuff because when we look back at this stuff in 10 years, you'll be like, wow, I can't believe
like I
all this
wish I
stuff we
could
said.
go back to being naive in that moment.
Well,
Like, you know, I
and,
think
and the cool thing from my perspective, because I've been recording and on TV for so long now, is I can look back to interviews I did about Netflix like 6 years ago when people were like, Netflix sucks and all this. And I used to be like, you don't know what the fuck you're
Oh,
talking about.
Ackman invested.
I know.
Yeah,
I was pretty
dude, it
happy
was up
today.
like 4%
I know, we were
after
talking
hours.
about
Dude, we
this.
were
I
I
know.
literally
Yesterday we
texted
talked about
Ackman
Netflix.
and
Because
I
we
said,
were buying
"He's still
Netflix
not in
just this week
Tesla."
because it
Like,
dropped so much.
He's
And-
still not?
Well, no, I sent
No.
him a text literally
We
30
just
minutes
texted
ago. I
Ackman
said,
that-
"You still not in Tesla? There's another 10 bagger left. Not financial advice, obviously."
Who'd you say that to?
To
To
Ackman.
Ackman.
Bill
On
Ackman.
Twitter?
Yeah,
No,
he
on
knows
text.
Bill Ackman.
You have his text
I
message?
shot him
Yeah.
a text, and I was like, "Bro, how do you still?"
And I
not
was like,
own
I love
Tesla?"
Bill
Well,
Ackman.
tell him
Like,
I'm sorry.
let's
for
talk a little shit.
You know
I
what?
talked a little shit about him.
You don't like
Yeah,
Bill?
no, he deserves
Sorry.
it. I mean, he says he's a great investor.
I love
Yeah,
Ackman.
he's missing
I
the greatest company of all time, Tesla. And I'm like, bro,
Yeah, but he has his thing. Like he owns
Tell-
like
tell me
5
Gavin says
companies,
sorry.
you know?
yeah. No, I love
That's
talking
weird.
trash. I think it's funny how like these people that you kind of think are like on another level in terms of smartness or like these Wall Street kind of gods, like David Einhorn, you know, like I
Mhm.
met with David Einhorn when
Right.
Tesla-
back in the day.
and it's just like you get intimidated, but then you think about, you're like, dude, like these guys can't think outside the box. They can't get outside the box.
You want to know
for once? It's just crazy.
You want what my opinion of, and I think I've done.
I drank my shot. I did my
shit,
prematurely.
okay. Well, you got to hear this one.
Yeah, sorry, I got excited.
So my opinion
I'm doing this
of my one of my biggest, I would say my biggest mistake of investing the last 2.5 years, just since the pandemic, was, in my opinion, not going heavy enough into Tesla. And the reason I say that is I remember, and I'll never forget, and I still feel this way today, because I get a lot of hate. People are like, oh, you only do well because of Tesla or this, that, or whatever. I get that all the time. And I'm like, well, like you said, you only have people right once, right?
Money's money.
Right?
Money's money.
Yeah. Like, F you, I'm making money, right?
Yeah.
You know,
you only do well because you own Tesla.
Like, that's fucking amazing.
I'll tell that to my landlord.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But in the pandemic, so March, April, and don't do this, not financial advice. I refinanced all my real estate, my rental properties, and I basically threw it all into the market. And the only reason I didn't go heavier into Tesla was because all the commentary was, oh, you're only good at Tesla. And so subconsciously it affected me that, I got to find other companies or whatever. Right. And so I kind of, looking back, I'm like, I didn't need to.
Right.
I literally didn't need to. I could have just done just Tesla. And who cares if jerks and morons are only good because of Tesla? Okay, well, at least I'm good at something. You know?
Well, look,
honestly, and you got wisdom to be able
it's
to
funny.
look back and say that. That's
like
dope.
there's this firm that's like filled with assholes. It's called Hedgeye, and these were guys that were short Tesla back in the day.
Yeah,
and they had that newsletter, and they're like, Tesla's a dog, and I think this guy Keith McCullough, and he's just a total like scumbag, you know. And so like all these guys sent out newsletters, and they thought it was the short of all shorts, like everybody else, and then we kicked their ass. And this guy's always talking crap about me to this day. And it's the same thing. You can say whatever you want about me. I made $250 million off Tesla for my clients, and you've made your clients nothing. So it's like, that's the scoreboard. So people might not like that you won or lost the game. And I don't really fucking care, because I have the score, and the scoreboard is what matters in this game. The best part about investing is the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So these short sellers,
shoes, man, are these bowling shoes?
No, these are Nikes.
Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
Dude, man, I love the color. You got to show this off. Can you show that?
And those socks.
Tell me those don't look like bowling shoes.
Yeah.
No, these are These are stylish. Nice.
Dude, they're stylish, bro.
I have another. You're wearing bowling shoes.
What are you wearing?
Let's see what you're wearing.
I'm wearing dirty Hugos here.
How much is Hugo Boss paying you for this sponsorship?
I know. Well, I wear Boss too.
Oh yeah, Boss. Everything's Boss.
I know.
No. This is Gorin Brothers out of Santa Barbara.
I like that. I know that store. That store's a great store, by the way. Yeah. I like hats, actually. I have a few of those, but
Adams.
I like those shoes too.
These are cool.
Yeah.
Nice color.
Okay, we're getting into.
All right, so are we getting back to Tesla?
We're getting into apparel.
I think you need to blow this sideways. So we got to.
Are we almost done? What do we got here? No. Let us know.
Let us know if you want questions.
That's the question.
Q&A. Should we do Q&A?
Elon,
everything is on the table.
You made a dog whistle. It's like it hurts everybody's ears.
Dude, I already know the comments are like, stop blowing that. Stop blowing.
Listen, I paid $50 for a fucking whistle. I finally get to use it.
Dude,
and now they're like,
cyber whistle.
I know. Like, seriously, Elon could literally sell anything. Like anything. This is like, I mean, how many suckers paid $50?
Hey, Ross, this guy keeps sending you money and asking, do you think GGPI Polestar can 2 or 3x with the merger in March?
Well, I don't look at it as a 2 or 3x in the merger in March kind of thing, but it's funny because I just talked to Polestar today. They have another event coming here in LA that they invited me to on March 2nd or 3rd. And I am super bullish on this company and their ability to execute. This is not a 2 or 3 bagger in a month. This is a 2 or 3 bagger in a couple of years.
10 years.
That is perfectly fine with me.
So we're talking about Polestar, the Volvo
the
EV
Volvo
thing.
EV company.
So
do you actually like them? Because I don't.
I just think talking.
Why don't you like?
I gotta drive an EV and have it be
cares about Polestar.
Dude,
I'm with you.
It's an old. You know what? It's a company that's attractive to 50+-year-olds.
Well, who cares who it's attractive to?
It's not going to do well. It's not a sexy
name
stock.
Polestar?
Nobody's going to buy this thing in America.
Volvo has a brand that I think
nobody cares about a Volvo.
So they were trying to create a new brand, and that
I honestly think that's a mistake
because
because I think Volvo is a good brand.
Okay,
what is
maybe
when you think of Volvo? Maybe this is my.
But when you look at the
thing,
Polestar,
it's
it doesn't look like a Volvo.
Okay, but when you think of Volvo, safe. That's what I think of Volvo. That's a great brand.
Tesla's a safe.
Teslas are they
I
beat
think your
Volvo.
criticism
Volvo.
is legitimate in that they have to build a new brand, and that's hard. That's hard. But I like the vehicles, and I think what I actually think is that if you build an EV and it's good, it will be sold.
Like the demand is just the opportunity is huge.
It's just that high. So it's kind of like it's like the biggest demand thing in the world. So think about the average person who maybe drives a $50,000 car and is paying, I don't know, $5,000 a year in gas. And so it just doesn't matter what EV they buy. They save $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
So
and the technology, Tesla is helping the technology get better. Like,
but
as
I
much
think
as
you guys,
I'm hating
I
on
think you
Rivian,
guys
it'll
are
be easier for them.
underestimating the brand because they're partnering
They have
with
no
some
brand.
big people.
They have no brand.
Okay, but they're
We're
partnering
the wrong market.
with some
Dude,
big
Listen,
people.
Leonardo
no
DiCaprio,
people.
cool during the Titanic, love him.
Wait,
Every
they got Leo?
Yeah, Leo's
Yeah.
the brand ambassador.
Dang it.
And
I'm giving
not
that
where
a
I was
win.
going with
And
that.
That's a win. You're
and
going to tell me that's not a win?
honestly,
Yeah,
I've hung
you're
out
right.
with
And
Leo.
first of all, Leo, why are you not doing Tesla?
I know.
That's what I'm saying, Listen,
man.
Leo needs money.
Listen.
He sold out for Polestar.
Listen.
He did not get in on Tesla stock.
That's
clear.
not what happened
That's
at all.
clear.
That's not what happened at all. I've gotten to hang out with Leo now twice.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got all jealous.
Okay.
Leo's my buddy. Okay, so don't mess with
He's
Leo.
actually about to. He's
Okay.
our fourth guest.
No, listen.
That's- Leo, you can
I'll
come
work
in,
on
bro.
that. I'll work on that.
Okay,
But,
how
yeah,
about a Tesla
Leo
question?
DiCaprio cares about the environment more than any person I've met in Hollywood.
Tesla.
Like legitimately.
Elon.
He just
No, I know.
he
I
just
feel that,
made
though. I
one
feel
of the
that.
most impactful movies on climate on Netflix. Don't look up.
The
It's
Titanic?
a wonderful no, it's a wonderful movie. Have you seen it? Do you have Netflix?
I
Do-
canceled
no,
my
you're-
Netflix
he only
to
has
buy the
YouTube. He only has YouTube. He only watches YouTube.
He just watches himself.
You got to watch this movie.
I
See,
honestly,
that's the
I can
problem.
watch nothing.
You have
I have
not
no
seen
time.
this movie.
I know. I feel you.
I know.
honestly.
Well, you do like 3 videos
Oh,
a day.
I want a Tesla question.
No,
okay?
but let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
So,
We do
so
need a
Polestar
Tesla
has to
question.
establish itself, but they're
It's not going
partnering
to.
with one of the biggest actors in climate that there is, who legitimately cares. And
Nobody cares.
I think that people want to buy new brands, and there's a value to creating a new brand, although it's hard.
No.
But the cars are great. They're EVs. They save people a lot of money. They've already got a sales and manufacturing and service infrastructure. And the new cars they're building are sweet. So I don't know if I want it to be a Volvo,
Okay.
to be honest. Now, it's a $10 stock trading at $20 billion today with 30,000 vehicles delivered this year. Tell me any other EV car company that's done that.
Yeah. No, that's way more
Okay.
numbers than
So
we said at Rivian. or
That's
whatnot.
why we're
I'll give you that.
investing, because I can get it at a reasonable price. Rivian's at a 60 billion or 70 billion. Lucen's at 40, 50 billion. Here's a car delivering thousands of cars a month, 20 billion. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it any day. And
So, do we have a
and is it
Tesla question, or-
Tesla?
Yes.
No. Am I
Somebody-
buying the farm? No, I'm not betting the farm.
So-
But I'm investing in the best EV companies like Arcimoto is a
No,
perfect example.
yeah.
Arcimoto's $6-7 a share. Okay. They have a wonderful product. I love the product.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so
They're
fun,
building
honestly.
a factory right now. And I'm like, Mark, get this factory done. Every hotel,
Yes.
every hotel in
Critical.
Hawaii, every hotel in Miami and Florida, every hotel in Southern California needs these Arcimotos to rent. There's so much fun in the beach communities. I love this thing. I wanted it in Hawaii so bad. So here's a great company. You can get $6-7 a share. When they scale, then they can get this thing out. Boy, this is a $30 stock. So we're investing in the EV growth stories like Arcimoto, like Polestar. I'd like to invest in a company like Rivian, but it's way too expensive. So
And we haven't tried the product. We've driven around the
That's right.
Arcimotos.
That's right.
I'm on
And
the
I finally
board,
got,
so
and I finally got.
disclosure,
Well, I had, full
but
disclosure.
it's like
you're on the board.
But
yeah.
like when you that's fun. Like that's I'm kind of like Rivian. Like let us
dude.
play around with the Rivian.
Dude,
Like
the
to me, that's the best
Arcimoto
part.
this
The
summer-
Arcimoto. Like I stopped when I was visiting Mark to supercharge, and he sees it, and I'm like, and I drove away, and I was like, fuck, like why didn't I drive the Arcimoto? Like I would have like loved to do a joyride.
I know.
Like those.
Well,
like,
I was just in Hawaii
so-
and I wanted the Arcimoto so bad.
Well,
All right, Tesla question.
okay. Yeah.
So, not to pull you off Arcimoto.
Well, we got excited.
And somebody said I was mean to you, so I'm sorry, Ross.
What do you mean to me?
I'm sorry. I'll give you a hug.
The commenters are deciding that
The
your
commenters.
feelings have been hurt.
Mm.
So
Well,
I apologize. Yes, Galley's still on the Arcimoto board. Somebody else was asking. Okay, the question about Tesla is what do we actually think that the Optimus robot might potentially do for the stock? Do we actually think it's going to come out this year? I'm paraphrasing their question a little bit.
So they're gonna. I don't think it's gonna come out this year, but they're gonna
No,
show a
agreed.
prototype, and it's like what's more important than the numbers on the call or what they say on the call, how they say it. What's Elon saying on the call? He's like, And it's funny because we all thought the product roadmap was going to be cars and all this stuff. Of course, it's Elon style, just way ambitious in the future. And he's like, oh, product roadmap, Tesla bots coming. And it's, we're going to unveil one this year. Yeah. So I think as a Tesla investor, the biggest moment in changing Tesla for me and my trajectory first was FSD.
Yes.
When they said they will develop an autonomous car, I said, this is more than an electric story. That's going to be bigger. That expands the TAM. Now I see this is a robot story as well.
Yeah.
And so Tesla for the first time diverged from their mission of we're just going to make sustainable energy technologies. That is our goal as a company. That's
I don't think it's diverging from the mission. I think they can't find the fucking people.
But it's,
and that's why
you wouldn't have thought that's true. It's almost like a different problem society has. Obviously, it's not in silos, but this labor shortage. We're not having enough babies. We're living longer. We don't want to do this work. We can be a lot more efficient without this work. It's like, so the Tesla bot, I guess what I'm trying to boil down is like me as a super long-term investor who wants to invest in companies developing technologies that will create value in 10 years.
Yeah.
This is such in my sweet spot.
Yes.
This totally changed my like plateau value of Tesla from 3 to 4 trillion to infinite trillions.
Oh, well, the bot idea is like limitless.
Exactly.
And especially from the brain
way too bullish, guys.
No.
Are we too bullish?
No, but think
about
about
long term. This is long.
Yeah. But I can't project out for Tesla really like with confidence more than 5 years, in my opinion.
I wouldn't project any revenue for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. This bot is 0 in 5 years.
It's the same thing I think
it's
about Robotaxi.
10
So Robotaxi and the bot are the secret upside.
Yes.
I don't model
the
that
icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
But you don't even need to. That's the crazy thing about Tesla. If you just model the vehicle growth, you don't need to model Tesla insurance, Tesla semis, Tesla FSD, Tesla bot, Tesla energy, Tesla solar, and the
Tesla entertainment. Remember that screen is a fucking gold mine.
I have no idea what that is. Okay, but
what happens when you're driving home and you want to order Uber, and now they're getting fees now from everything you order, and it knows that you like hamburgers on Tuesday, so you're driving home, and then it orders the food, and you get home.
You don't need any of it.
Delivery.
For me to calculate,
the screen's going to be worth a lot.
And people get mad at me, but when I do just my simple fundamental analysis on Tesla, for me it's an easy double in 4 years, probably way sooner. But I always like to be very, very conservative. So all of the extra stuff for me is icing on the cake. Now, people still make fun of me. They're like, calling Tesla conservative. But whatever. they're in a different world, right? But yeah. So all of that is icing on the cake. But this to this person's question, the bot, I honestly do not foresee myself buying one of these Tesla bots until my son is probably out of my house.
You guys screenshot this.
Okay, I can see that, but I do think you will have a Tesla bot in your lifetime.
Oh yes,
like we're young.
Yes,
I'm like, this is a fun bet.
You're gonna buy the Tesla.
You buy it is going to show up
first.
in like 10 years. Kevin's going to show up with his Tesla bot in 10 years.
Now, I need the bot right now.
The amount of time I spend is just like you think about like what the most important assets when I think about a company or product or service. If you can command attention or time, if you can arbitrage on those, that is value. So to me, when I think about my day and I'm like washing the dishes, oh, okay, I have a date. Who knows who's coming over to my house? Now I got to clean. That's like 3 hours outside of my day. Yeah. It's like I got to clean my now I got to do my laundry. Now I'm going to trip.
By the way, if you want a hint for your dates.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, appreciate that. No, I learned that a few years ago, but I appreciate it. That's a good one. Honestly, for bros out there, important.
Yeah. Clean your bathroom, guys.
But like
they check
the amount of time that like you spend doing these tasks is just, to me, it's like, dude, I'm pumping out twice as many YouTube videos. I'm going to start another VC fund, another startup. I'm going to, it's like, if I just didn't have to do my laundry, if I didn't have to cook, if I didn't have to clean, it's like the amount
Wasn't that in the Jetsons? Like, what is it? Rosie was the robot. Rosie the robot in the Jetsons. Do you know what the Jetsons are?
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
God damn these kids! What is wrong with you? You didn't have the Jetsons. Dude, you guys didn't have the Jetsons,
dude.
God, your generation missed out.
Tesla
you guys missed out.
Okay, so I mean, we keep hearing this crap. I don't believe this.
No, there is no Tesla.
I don't believe it.
There's no Tesla.
But it's like, okay, well, we could do a robot, so we're gonna do it. It's like, well, you could do a phone.
No,
so do
there's a different thing here.
Part of me.
There's a different thing here. Okay, think about full self-driving.
We still have a shot.
Yeah. Oof. Think about full self-driving. The robot is a direct result from this.
Well, that's what they're saying. It's the same tech.
You get on the road here, and you push drive me home. 100 variables, 100 things, all the eyes, all the data. Now you put in a robot and you say, wash the dishes. That's fucking simple. Driving from here to my house is not easy at all. Full
I see what
self-driving.
you're saying.
Like if I'm like, hey robot, clean some dishes, it's literally like such a simple task. If I'm like, hey robot, drive me through PCH on traffic and all this kind of shit, super hard. So that's what Elon's really saying is I can put the same freaking cameras in this thing with the same brain and just reprogram to simpler tasks. And it's super easy to do. So I don't even think he thinks the robot's that hard. I think the challenge will be to get the robot to work, right? More physically, more than mentally, because the brain in the car is already smarter than a robot needs to be.
Would you guys get Neuralink? Somebody donated $10.
No.
Ooh.
No.
So I
No
think
way.
Neuralink is, I don't know.
I think it's great for people who are like crippled or blind and stuff like
for
that.
now.
Well, like my brother has.
Oh no, I came
like
up
my
with
brother
the
has
super
limited
feature
vision,
of Neuralink.
and Neuralink could totally change his ability to see. You know, that's where I think Neuralink has.
I mean, that's
enormous
so cool.
implications in healthcare.
And like,
you know.
if you're paralyzed now, you can move.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think the biggest use case for Neuralink, I've been thinking about this a lot, is memory. What is the
Yes.
biggest thing that you're concerned of? Don't you wish you could relive every experience of your life?
No,
Yes.
not at all.
Don't you wish? Oh, you guys were in your Lucid car last
You're
night.
too young.
You guys were partying last night. You forgot about some
I don't
awesome
wanna
combo
relive
you
any of
had.
it.
You weren't there. Like,
Wasn't
I don't
just
know.
Convo.
I just think there's so.
I don't want to
To
relive
me,
any of it.
why do we bust out our phones? What is the number one reason you have your phone on you most of the time?
To
Yes,
call-
it's being
to call someone.
To
communication,
buy Tesla.
but it's to
Yeah.
document your life so you can have
No,
memories.
that's your
And you've
generation.
outsourced your memory part of your brain to technology.
That's your generation.
No, I know it's weird, but to me, this is why I want Neuralink, because I want to remember every moment in my life from
It's
my
on your fucking
perspective.
phone.
But it's not, because I'm not filming right now, and you can't see it. From me. I have to
It's
hold
on
it. I have to
YouTube.
change
It's
what I'm
on
doing.
YouTube. You can
You
watch
know-
your whole life. You guys of all people have your whole
No,
life.
but I'm telling you,
on the
this
internet.
is the killer feature, and this is also what Snapchat is
God.
messing up on their spectacles, which I have, which is Neuralink just outside your head.
You're
I'll be
wanna-
right back.
which is this-
Keep going. I
you're
like
gonna-
this,
Yeah,
but I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
it was
gonna
your
wanna
question.
You're
Okay.
gonna want to forget some of these memories, you know.
No, and that's why they have the delete function, bro. Like they have a delete function. I'm just saying that is to me so powerful. How many times it's like, oh, I wish I don't know.
0%.
I don't know.
I don't
to me,
wish I
this
remember
is
anything I don't remember.
is one of the
Your
biggest trends I
brain
see.
does a really good job of imprinting memory, and it does a really good job of then correlating it with things like smell or sound, like music, for example, recalls memory really, really well. So there's your brain actually works already this way, very, very.
It's forgetting the stuff it should forget. It's already
stuff it should forget,
Yeah.
and remember stuff you should remember. And the keys and the cues to your memory are really interesting. But I think when you have more memories as you get older, you'll realize that your brain does this very, very well on its own.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so if I'm more curious what you would answer this, because if I was ever going to interview Elon, my first question is, when we upload or when we have Neuralink and you're about to die, is there a choice to upload your consciousness? So I think they're going to try and do this. But my theory is, like, there's all these shows, right? It's like, okay, but I think it won't work. And I think
Of
what'll
course
happen
not.
is, like,
Of course,
it'll be like a mirror of what they think your consciousness is, but it won't be you. But I don't know. To me, when I think of
Thank you.
Neuralink, that is the most important question to me. It's like,
okay.
are we gonna, like, okay, if I get
Now
paralyzed, I can
you're
solve
getting
it.
into some really interesting areas of thought and
Yeah.
belief systems. I don't believe technology can replace like life, like your consciousness. And I know Elon has some pretty out there beliefs about consciousness.
And like the simulation theory.
Yeah, the simulation, which I'm not totally, how would I say, closed-minded to, but I've spent a lot of time thinking about these things, and then just recently studying genetics, and in studying genetics, one of the things that I was blown away by, especially with mRNA, is the way our genetics work in our code. And it's like, we can't recreate life, consciousness. It exists and it's passed on somehow.
We can't explain it.
Yeah, it's unexplainable. So, like, there's a certain part of life that's just unexplainable, which is your consciousness. And that's the part we're most scared of losing when we die. It's like, what happens to our consciousness?
Yeah.
And so you're too young to think about it as much as I do. But I'm like,
I mean,
dude,
I'm already thinking about it. I'm nervous. I'm like, fuck, let's upload me. I don't want to lose this. Otherwise, this is dope. Like,
well, there's not
I'm
much you
thinking
can do.
around. Like,
There's not much
I
you
don't
can
want
do.
to leave the party.
I know. Trust me.
But I feel like that's kind of a beautiful thing to have about life.
I
It's
think
like, you
that's
should want to.
why you got to
die.
live for today and put
Yeah.
your fucking phone down and live for today. Because, and I'll tell that to all the kids too.
To everybody watching on their phone.
Absolutely, man. Fine, watch on the show and then put it down when
Yeah.
you're done. But like, your life and your experiences, you need to go out there and have
the
it.
human body is inherently inefficient. Why would a robot be efficient? So this is, to
How
me,
is the human body inefficient?
exactly?
I
We
think
are
it's horribly
so
efficient. Yeah.
my brain, it's thinking.
It's
I can move it
millions
over
of years
here,
of
I can move it over
evolution.
there. And
we can
that's
do
like
amazing
when they're like,
things.
oh, the cow, it's so, it's so much energy, so much. It's like the cow is actually a good technology for turning grass and water into really good, tasty protein.
Well,
And it evolved for thousands of years
and
to do that.
cows are wonderful for lots of things that humans need.
Yeah. Well, and we like coexist. Like, who doesn't love a burger?
And who doesn't love a cow? I love cows.
Yeah.
They're super nice.
So I think that's actually a genius of Tesla, is saying the human body is doing all the tasks we want to replace. So why are we going to try and get smarter than everybody and say, oh no, this is what is going to solve all your tasks? Like, humans are already doing all the tasks. So let's just build a human.
And Elon talks
Like,
about it,
I think
especially jobs that are like super repetitive and dangerous. Like you watch these construction workers up on like the 75th floor and they got their little thing wire on and they're like hammering stuff.
I'm like,
and
that would literally is a nightmare.
I would like poop myself on the 58th
like,
floor,
what are you doing,
sitting
dude?
on a fucking ledge, right? And these guys do this every day, but it's dangerous, repetitive work. And people do get injured and die all the time. And so it's not to say we're going to replace those workers, but it would certainly be efficient to have robots helping them, and certainly save lives.
Like, and the skyscraper theory is one thing. What about Mars?
Well, Mars is a whole nother
We're
challenge.
sending the bots to
Right,
Mars.
right.
This is dope. We need that.
Right.
Like,
or the moon.
And so a scary thing about the Tesla bots that Elon said was that they could have emotion or like develop personalities. I forget, maybe the chat. Well, it was something like that.
This is
and that
another
was
interesting
so
thing.
like it'll develop a personality based on the way you treat it. Like,
right.
Whoa.
But it's kind of like Facebook does that, where it's like depending on the inputs in the algorithm,
your feed's
the
different.
outputs.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's the same idea. So if you're always complaining, maybe the bot's like, you complain a lot, so I'm going to have like positive thoughts come back to you. So it's like, Gally.
Hopefully, it's not just like gossiping
things aren't
with you.
so bad, and it's like, Gally, the grass isn't always greener, So it's like it learns that you're always complaining.
No, but it would optimize for engagement, so it would get you riled up if it was built by Facebook.
Well, it would be like Facebook.
It would be like
it end up like going on a rant and killing people.
Yeah, it'd be like, like, this is
Facebook.
You're not pissed.
It's
Why
like the Facebook metaverse.
You should be pissed. Dude.
I know.
And here's where you can buy to make yourself less pissed.
I know.
Now that we're on that subject.
You should consider rioting in Kenosha. And it's like,
Ross, you're gonna get me canceled, bro. Chill. No, but it's dude, the Tesla bot. I did not think I would see robots in my lifetime. Like, I didn't have a vision of this weird future with all these robots until Elon brought it on stage.
You don't
and I was like,
Star Wars?
Look, like you do, but it's
I'm
like
in
that's
the book of Boba.
what company?
Right now.
Who's gonna do that?
I'm
and then
more
you
worried
see Elon,
about
you're
Jabba the Hutt.
Elon does what he says he's gonna do. Like, he's gonna build these robots, and they're gonna be everywhere, and this is gonna happen, and that is the way that our lives go into this weird Black Mirror future. So
just stop right there with that statement. I literally made that same exact statement in 1994 about personal computers. When I walked into my office in 1994 and started working in the securities industry, there was not a computer on any desk. And I brought in this laptop, this Dell laptop, and I had AOL. And everybody's looking at me like, what the hell? And I said the same exact thing you just said.
Like, you basically brought in your Tesla bot.
Right.
You're the first guy to bring in your Tesla bot.
And they were like, why do you have a bot? And I was like, one day, all of you will have this. And they laughed at me. Okay. And that's exactly the same thing with the bot. What you just said is true. We laugh about these things today. We dismiss them. But you'll be surprised in 5 years when you look around and there's actually Tesla robots.
Yeah.
Okay. But there will be. Okay. And I think that's the part of the vision of Elon that most people discount in this box that we're talking about, is that they don't understand what he sees fully. And what I've done is I've just bet with him, and I don't care what it is because I know it will be amazing. And so for investors who want to be a part of this amazing future, Elon lets you be a part of it. It's kind of the frustrating thing with SpaceX is you can't participate unless you own the private stock, which is really hard to buy.
I do.
I know you do. And I do through like the Barron's Partners Fund, which has SpaceX. Done very well. It's like SpaceX and Tesla and a bunch of other great stocks. But like, I think from an investor's perspective, as I've said before, missing out on what Elon will bring our society over the next decade or two would be the biggest investment mistake you could possibly make in your career.
Yeah. And it's funny because people almost, discount us as less credible because we like Elon and Tesla and because we're just Elon fanboys. Like, no.
Well, I got
We've been
2.2
scouring
billion.
the
I don't
world.
think people think we're less credible.
No,
I think people are
it's
investing with us.
But you know
tons.
what they don't understand? It's like my friend Mike. He's the dopest Ethereum wallet. He's like, Vitalik's not paying me. Ethereum's not paying me. I don't care. It's just the best tech. Like, we're investors. We're finding the best company that's changing the world the way we want the world to be changed.
You're right.
Nobody was doing it. And then our job is to figure out who these entrepreneurs are, how much value they're creating. And we stumble upon this guy called Elon Musk. And it is like, oh my God, he's working his ass off. He's got the best morals. He's got such a big vision. He can hire all the right engineers. He is an engineer. He can motivate them. He can actually execute. Like, it just fell into our lap that we had a once in a several generation entrepreneur. And we are like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they think it's like a bad thing that Elon has fanboys. It's like, no, a cult is a good thing. Every great company has a cult, and the cult's there for a reason. The more research you do on Elon and Tesla, the more you will respect him.
Well, I actually kind of get annoyed when people are like, oh, you're an Elon Musk fanboy. And I'm like, actually, I'm not. I've had many bad days with Elon, too.
We're beefing with him half the time.
Right. I look at it as I'm an investor in Elon's company.
Yeah.
And I support Elon 100%. But if you think that I haven't not only sent Tesla difficult letters about Elon and things that have happened, or made my opinion known to them, and Elon knows it too. And I've actually had a few.
I've heard
fights.
you tell Elon to shut up and like button up for the mainstream media at Autonomy Day. I remember that. And in my head, I'm thinking they're like, oh my God, we're next to Elon Musk. Ross is like bitching at him, yelling at him. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Yelling at him.
No,
I just was trying
and honestly, it may have had an impact or not, but
well, the next day he was like tweeting garbage again, and I was like, oh, he was.
But I think as much as there was a moment where Elon, even today on the call, he's buttoned up.
Yeah, he has.
He realized.
Well, that was another period of time where I sent a lot of letters to Tesla about the way they were doing conference calls. Like, remember when you became famous for the famous call of all time,
the Q1? Let's go to YouTube.
That was the most epic conference call of all time, when he was like, I'm not dealing with you. Fuck you. Get off the line. And he's like, I'm going to take questions from Galley.
In my shitty little apartment, like 4 feet from my unmade bed, Google Doc with all the questions from the Tesla community.
You were like super prepared.
Right.
And then you killed it. But you killed it. It was like your moment. It was like your moment, and you killed it. And I'm on the call just going, what is he doing? And then Galley starts asking these great questions. Elon starts engaging.
Elon's
with you.
like laughing. He pops open a granola bar.
I know. I was like, dude, this is awesome, but this was the worst call I've ever been through. And then so I would send them these letters. Like, remember when they used to like have somebody resign on every like earnings call, and it was like, and I was like,
well, and then like
dear
the
Elon
media is like pouncing on this. They're like, dude, Tesla's
gone,
summer intern just left. It's like, we're like, guys, it's fall.
And I wrote this letter, dear Elon, it's the worst time in the world to announce departures during an earnings call. It would seem like they would serve no value having a speech from JB Straubel or whoever during a conference call about how he's resigning. I'm like, this is not good.
I'm like, it sounds simple, but I think you're onto something pretty big here.
So he stopped doing that. And then I wrote him this letter about under promising and over delivering. Remember when Elon,
that was the crux of his
problem. So
and
he would tell
great
people
for
his
motivating
goals.
Engineers.
Right. He
would
was
tell people
amazing
for getting
goals.
shit done. Wall Street couldn't handle it.
Right. So he'd say, my goal is to do 100,000 of X. And I'm like, unfortunately, that's not what Wall Street is doing. Wall Street's saying, now you've promised 100,000 of X.
And 99.9, even though it's amazing as a company, is a miss and an L in the word.
So I said, Elon, start saying you're going to do 80 of X instead of 100 of X, and understand that everybody's reading this. And then what will happen is when you do 90 instead of 100, the stock rallies instead of getting crushed, because you said our goal is 100. And he started doing that. And now he's running these calls like really well, and really
how many
well.
CEOs would have been like, fuck you guys, you're annoying, I'm not going to listen to you. Like, just to me, the ability for Elon, he wanted to listen to his shareholders.
Well, not to say he never
wanted
did that
to listen to his customers.
He might have done that to me once.
That to me, this is why Elon, just on a first principles basis, is an insane leader. He takes that feedback. He's listening.
I think he listens.
He has thick enough skin to take shit.
I think
Rivian doesn't. I've been talking about Rivian.
Well, I would be such an asset to him,
but
I don't think Elon has thick skin. I think he has thin skin.
He's super passionate about everything he does
in the right way.
So
I think you have to
you got to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Someone's fully invested in that's their life work and they're passionate. Respect that.
Right.
But you show them the respect. And you're like, Elon, look, I'm on fucking your side.
Right.
we want
Well, that's why
and
he
that's why we
listens.
came
That's
and
why
we were
he
like, dogs,
listens.
we were
Right,
on your
right.
side. We have hard advice now. We need to switch up the communications. We need to focus on the long
Right.
term. Stop telling me you're going to do 5,000 units because I'm a shareholder and I bought your stock and I trust you. I don't give a fuck about what Wall Street does. Tell me we're going to have money in the bank next quarter. And if we don't have hit 5,000, we like, it was just kind of like,
Well, it's like the
screw
PR
communicating
thing.
for Wall Street. Communicate to us, the shareholders, because we
Right. But
and
it's
they-
like this whole PR thing. Like there's a lot of people, including Gary, who are like Tesla should just have like a PR division and like they should be doing traditional stuff. And I'm like, listen, Elon's not going to do that. And like Elon fortunately has people like me and you who kind of distill out to the media what's really happening. And he's perfectly fine with people like me and you doing this. And so he doesn't see any utility in having this whole song and dance.
Guess what? Tesla gets unbelievable free advertising.
Unbelievable.
He's the world's biggest influencer.
Totally.
What they're doing is the best in press strategy of any automaker or any company in the world right now. So for you to tell Tesla how to run their communications and press when they're the only company not spending money on ads, outselling everyone else,
they do
it's like,
spend money
let's just
on
take a
ads.
step back
They
and
spend
sit
money
down.
on ads in China, you know,
Which is
it's like-
interesting. That's a
it's-
very new, different
right,
part
but
of
see,
Tesla.
like
though.
they understand where they need to do stuff, where they don't need to do stuff. And so it wouldn't make any sense for them to put ads on in the United States. There's no reason. They have every car sold. Like, what's the difference? They need to like not advertise, you know. But in China,
That's
I think
funny.
it's different because they want to establish their brand and they have tough competitors in the EV space. And so they do have ads and they do make really cool videos in China.
And they're playing the game.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an asset. Like, okay, which other CEO is going to navigate a multinational company, going to navigate the politics of China and the US in the middle of a trade
a
war,
tough
literally
role.
the first
Yeah.
wholly owned factory ever in China, expand it, make billions of profit for US shareholders. I mean, the finesse of geopolitics that took for Elon and his team to pull off
I mean, it's crazy.
it's
He's
like, bro,
still-
like
he
you guys are
still
saying he's a
walks that
bad
line.
CEO. It's like Ford's not pulling that off. GM isn't negotiating that because their tech sucks and they don't have leadership. So it's like,
He still walks that line. It's a tough line.
dude,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a
It's
big
a
risk
tough
for
one.
Teslas.
It's a big
US
risk.
China
It's a big risk.
escalating, but
It's a risk that I don't like talking about. It's a big risk.
it is.
I think.
want to know about this risk.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Are
Kevin's back. No, I think that China and the US have so much incentive to work together, so much financial incentive to work together, despite Xi's poor choices in the way he's running China. We're stuck with China. And so we've got to make our relationships work one way or another because so many companies, not just Tesla, rely on China. And I think
Yeah.
that's a challenge.
And what you think about China or not, like they have 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
Tesla giving them electric cars and green technology is good for all
Crazy
of us and
opportunity.
great for the world
Crazy.
and a big
crazy
business opportunity. All right, should we wrap this
Yeah,
up?
I think we should.
This has been going on forever. All right, you guys have
is
any
my
last
wife
shout
texting
outs?
me?
This has been so
Look,
fun.
I mean, I can't help but think after I went through not only the earnings press release and seeing this doubling of free cash flow on Tesla, which was amazing. They got $17.2 billion in the bank. Plus, what Elon told us today, I can't help but feel much more bullish. I'm really excited.
I'm
Wow.
excited about the future.
Kevin's hype.
I'm excited about the
Yeah.
future. I love this stuff. You know, like when you think about over my life, the innovations that we've seen, like I was just telling you about when I started working in the industry, people didn't have computers and there just was no computers. And
Well, that was in what, the 40s, right?
1994. And so
1944.
there was a 4 involved.
1949.
And
Well, you're right.
but there really wasn't computers. And then there was a time where we didn't have phones either. You know, it was the same time. And then we got phones and then we didn't have social media. And then there was social media, you know, and it's like when you think about autonomy and you think about EVs, there was a time 10 years ago, we didn't drive EVs. There was no EVs to drive.
Yeah.
And the fact that Tesla's now become ubiquitous as being the EV company in 10 years. And now we're talking about things like robots and AI and autonomous driving and scaling production to 20 million vehicles. The future is bright.
Did we talk about the 25K car?
Instead,
We
they're
didn't.
too busy for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not. I don't think they're too busy for it. I think inflation. Look at all the car inflation we've had.
I don't even
over
think
the
it's
last
that.
2
I
years.
think
That's
it's
a
just
funny take
why
on
would
it.
they sell
Yeah.
a cheap car when they can make money?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like if
and
you
then
did
it's like,
25K car now, 25K when they were first talking about this, when there was no inflation, is probably worth 32,000 now. If you think about it, with all the
Well, that's
This
a
is
lot.
actually
That's a
a very
big
good
inflation.
point for Elon. He needs to start saying 25K inflation adjusted.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause the
Yeah.
problem is,
Wait,
it doesn't
real
come out for another
25K.
10
Yeah,
years.
it's a real
It's like, bro, in 10 years,
And real-
25K. You're not getting,
No,
you're barely
he's just
getting a
got
cold brew for
he's just got a
25K.
quote in
By the time the
Bitcoin.
robotaxi
He's just got a
comes
quote
out.
in Bitcoin. So if he's like, it's one Bitcoin.
Or Doge. You know he's doing Doge.
Yeah, he likes Doge, but that's garbage.
I think it's not.
I know
we
you
could do
don't. You
another
have
podcast
Doge.
about
You
that.
have Doge,
I
but
would-
I
Are
like
you big
Bitcoin.
on Doge? Like, are you
No,
invested
but
in Doge?
I feel like the Doge,
He likes
Doge is very misunderstood because
Yeah.
it's not a joke. There's tech behind it. There's money behind it. There's powerful people behind
It's a
it.
real joke.
And it will
It's a real
optimize
joke.
for a use case
Yeah.
that other cryptos are not. And I think it will be here to stay potentially.
Well, you know what Elon says.
Listen,
The most.
you may be right.
And it's kind of like, dude, we're in a wild world. Like, oh, yeah,
What is
people haters are hating on Dogecoin, but you can buy Tesla merch. You can go to the moon with it.
It's true.
And
What
it's
is it? The most likely scenario is the most ironic.
No, it's the
Elon-
most
Elon
entertaining
said, yeah.
scenario is the most
And,
likely.
and so actually,
Yeah.
this is a great
Which
way
I
to
do
finish it
believe.
because you know where that goes for me. I'm like, Elon, you're an alien, dude.
Yeah,
You're an
So
alien.
I'll leave
That
you
is
with
the
this.
most
I
ironic.
wore this shirt today. It's
And actually, wait, yeah, I got my
Yeah,
alien shirt right here.
Let the Sun
You
Shine Tesla.
Wow.
Wait, that's dope.
Yeah, I got this one on today.
Gerber, is that Gerber Kawasaki merch?
No, this is Tesla merch.
Oh, that's
Tesla merch. Yeah, I
Oh,
bought it with
that's dope.
Dogecoin. You can get it at the Doge store. I think it was one Doge. No, Doge is like 5 cents.
Maybe
or
like a-
something.
Was that with the
100
Doge?
or 1,000 or something.
No, I bought it in dollars.
Oh, I was gonna say that's you actually bought that Doge? Like,
No,
okay.
No. No, you think I'd sell my Doge? I mean, that shit is
Hodl,
thousands,
hodl.
1,000. No, but like the Tesla merch store is great, and I think that's the message. You know, like let the sun shine. You know, it's like there's so much good that's going to come out of the innovation that Tesla is creating, and I'm super excited about the future. Every time I hear these conference calls, it just makes me super excited for what I do investing and what the future is in technology. And Elon's leading our generation, and I love it.
And dude,
Gen X, baby.
beautiful point to
Gen
end it.
X.
Gen-
So remember us 50-year-olds. Elon's my
Yeah,
age.
one
We went to
boomer
college,
did
same
something.
college.
One boomer did something. It was Elon. Okay, we'll give you that. No, but I
We're
love that.
changing the
There's
world.
like
Gen
not
X is
enough
changing the
good
world.
news in the world, and I love that we get to do this and like talk about good news that's happening and make
Yeah.
people excited about it. Like
Yeah.
that to me is like awesome. So,
Hyper change.
shout out to Tesla
Meet
for
Kevin.
that hyper change. Yo, this has been
It's
dope.
awesome.
Are we gonna do? Are we gonna do one more? Is that
Do you
too?
want one more?
I mean, to finish, like one more to toast to end
Kevin's
it,
got
or
to
is
get
that?
home sometime.
I'm Ubering at this point.
We're Ubering, bro.
I like it. All right, well,
Are we not smoking and sitting in the lucid massage sheets?
it's not a bad
Well,
idea.
that's after the podcast.
That's after-
I know. I'll call my wife, tell her I'm not
JK,
coming home.
right.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
She's like, once you
YouTube monetization guys.
Yeah,
No, but seriously,
But
thank you guys for doing
are
the
so worried
podcast.
about
This is so
monetization, you know? Come on, you got Tesla stock.
yeah, because
You're done.
we're not like milking fees on $2 billion of capital.
You think it's easy, man? I got like
Yeah.
500 calls today, you know?
At
No,
least
it's
he's
not.
not
It's not.
milking
Just saying
fees
that's
on.
why.
At least he's not milking
Yeah.
fees on RK.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Sorry.
Yeah. She's
I
making
love
some
the
serious-
roasting. All right.
Listen,
Yo,
you know,
thank you for
it's
tuning
all
in.
good.
Take a Tesla
Yeah.
shot with us.
Join
Cheers to
us
you.
to Elon.
To Elon.
Thank you, Tesla, Martin, the team.
Martin, yeah,
we
shout out.
appreciate the great work.
Give me FSD.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.